Duke University.
In drafting R.J. Barrett, the Knicks added another piece to the offseason puzzle. But now, the real games begin. The 2019 NBA free agent class is one of the most star-studded in league history. The biggest class since 2010 has the potential to alter the league for years to come. The Kristaps Porzingis trade was one that rocked the NBA. Many had anticipated the Unicorns' eventual return to the Knicks, but in the blink of an eye, at the trade deadline, KP was shipped out to Dallas in a blockbuster trade, leaving the fan base looking for answers and the future of the Knicks very cloudy. What the trade did do was allow the Knicks to free up an estimated $67 million in cap space, enough to afford 2 max free agents or 2 superstars to help this team turn the corner at an accelerated rate towards contention. With that, the media hype began to swirl, with many speculating that the Knicks would soon land Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So much has changed in the last few months. A catastrophic injury, a new NBA champion, and a little brother hell-bent on winning the hearts of the city. It seems like the momentum has been lost. So what happens if we strike out? What happens if we don't get any of our top targets this offseason? And we've been down this road before, almost 10 years ago, praying for a franchise savior, only to be sorely disappointed.
In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
So we turned to the shiny new things, but it never really turned into gold. Just more hollow victories at the expense of our future. But this time, things seem different. The new regime has stated many times that they will only go after their top targets and won't settle for overpaying second and third tier stars. Instead, the focus will be on the youth movement, developing our young players and using the cap flexibility and additional assets to continue to build the team. Hey, maybe one of these guys becomes the superstar that we surely need in this city. The new regime is preaching patience, but for a fan base that hasn't seen a championship in 46 years, there's always hope that the time is now. So now, we wait. Ah, man. You know what, man? I had to play my video anyway because I was damn proud of it. But man, I'm hurting right now, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. I'm hurting right now. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. You know, we waited all this time for a decision. They made the announcement that he was going to make the decision at 6 p.m. on free agency. Kyrie had already made his announcement. They said, well, KD's not going to follow somebody else. And then this. Listen, I don't care if he's not playing this year. I don't care if he's showing up next year with one leg behind his back. The fact that he's going to the Nets, let me tell you guys something, man. This is 10 times worse than the decision. 10 times worse than the decision. As we got Moke coming through. Moke, what's going on, man? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Moke?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. I'm about to set you up, man. I'm just going in right now on this rant.
So when am I actually gonna come on? At 6?
No, you're gonna be on. You're gonna be on right now, unless you need time. If you need time, I could bring you in at 6. It's okay.
Yeah, I was kind of more expecting 6. Cause I have a lapel mic that I wanted to.
Okay, all right. So when you're ready, just.
What about the lighting? The lighting is okay?
Yeah, lighting is perfect. That's cool too.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
And this frame is good?
Yep, frame is good, man. So when you're ready, just give me a thumbs up, and I'll bring you in.
All right. I kind of wonder if I should try to. I don't have anything I can rest on, but okay, yeah, I'll give you the thumbs up.
All right, cool. All right, that's Smoke Hamilton. He's getting ready. But listen, man, I'm tight. I'm tight, man. There's no other way around it. I'm tight. Obviously, they said that the Nets would be in position to get this done. You know, give credit to them. They made the moves necessary to get themselves in this position to get their 2 max free agents. And they got it. They got it, man. I'm in disbelief, man. I can't lie. I'm in disbelief, man. This is 10 times worse than the decision. 10 times worse than the decision. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. This is 10 times worse than the decision. Call me up. Lines are open, 657-383-1509. I'm going to get Moke into the stream. Call me up right now. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this. I'm stunned, man. I'm stunned. There's no way around it. Will from LI. Will, give me some thoughts here, man. What's going on, bro?
Yo, CP. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in New York City right now, trying to tie with 2 friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Got my Knicks hat on. I've been laughed at 5 times. Just walking down the street.
Don't be afraid to swing on him, Will. Don't be afraid to swing on him, man. I got your legal fees, man. Don't let him clown you like that, man.
Yo, CP, this is horrible. My gut hurts. I told my friends, like, listen, I'm going home. Went to the closest bar. I'm gonna drink myself a little something. Ease the pay. I'm gonna get home. I'm gonna drink some more. Yo, this is BS, son. This is absolutely ludicrous. And it's like, I don't know, man. I'm a loss for words.
I'm at a loss for words, bro.
Like, I got no words to give. I'm not flipping. I'm not going to be a Brooklyn Nets fan.
No, of course not. Oh, no.
Oh,
That's never happening. That's never going down. You know what I'm saying? But it's
I'm not flipping.
You know, listen, you have to admit it, regardless of...
I had the spreadsheet. I've been fighting people since the year began about KD coming. My text messages are blowing up right now, just laughing emojis everywhere.
Yeah, they're gonna laugh.
Clown that. Max Kellerman already got off talking about the best move he could have made. It's like, I'm a Knicks fan to the end of the day, but right now the whole world is going to be laughing at us. And at the end of the day, Knicks fans just got to know that it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. We just got to ride the wave. We just got to ride the wave, man.
I'm going to just leave it out there, man. I'm a loss for words, man. I'm going to let you get to it. You know, I'm going to let you get to it, but it's going to be hard times coming.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Hang in there, Will. Get home safe, man.
Will do. I'll try my best, man. I'll try my best.
All right, man.
All right, man. Later.
All right. Moke, how you looking? You still need a little bit more time? Okay. All right. Let's bring in Moke. Hang on 1 second, Moke. Let me switch, get your screen in ready here. I can't believe this, man. Unbelievable, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again. This is Knicks Fan TV, the hotline for depressed Knicks fans. Hang in there. This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. Mo, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna get you right in here. Okay. All right, joining me right now, as promised to deliver, Moke Hamilton from The Athletic. Moke, how you feeling right now, man? What happened, Moke? What happened,
man? Make sure I look good, man.
Yeah, you're proper, man. You're proper. Yeah, you're good. You're good to go, man.
I just got the fresh lineup a couple days ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, man.
Had to make sure I look good for the debut. But
Oh, the
I mean,
funeral.
I'm doing okay, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think for New York basketball generally, and for the Eastern Conference and for the NBA, that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving reportedly, and we have to continue to use that word reportedly, just because as of right now, as we speak, it is not yet 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, technically, a lot of decisions and stuff like that should not have been made at this point. You know what I mean? But for basketball generally in New York City, I think this is a very good day. Obviously, for the Brooklyn Nets franchise, it's probably the biggest day, if not the biggest day, one of the biggest days in franchise history. So from that regard, you got to feel good about it as a fan of the league and as a fan of the Brooklyn Nets, obviously. Now, if you're a New York Knicks fan, that's a whole nother story. I will say this for Knicks fans. So for those that might not know me, might not be familiar with me, I was born and raised in Long Island, in Hempstead specifically,
Right
and
next door to me, man.
exactly. And my parents are Jamaican national,
Yep.
so
Same here.
I'm a first generation American myself. And Patrick Ewing in my house was
That was our
obviously,
guy.
you know what I
That was
mean?
our
So,
guy, man. That was our hero.
exactly. So I grew up, watching this team. I grew up as a fan of the team, and the way that things kind of played out for me was, one thing led to another, and I got involved in the media, which has been a blessing, obviously. And for me personally, I wouldn't really necessarily say that I'm a fan of the team anymore for a number of reasons, but I am a fan of Knicks fans. And I'm a fan of Knicks fans' loyalty and their passion. And as someone that grew up in New York City, I see that very, very well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that regard, I find myself wanting good things to happen for the team, for the fans, So specifically for Knicks fans, I do think it's fair to say that today is a devastating day.
It's tough, man. This is worse than the decision to me, Moke. This is worse than LeBron coming in our backyard at the Boys and Girls Club right behind the Knicks training facility to say, I'm taking my talent to South Beach. To have Kyrie Irving and not even give you a meeting, and then Kevin Durant rehabbing right in the city, and to have both of them choose the Nets. I mean, as you say, reportedly so. That's a tough blow. That's a tough blow, man.
Yeah, and I think what makes it worse than that is just I mean, there are a couple of things. So for me, the first thing that I would kind of look at and say is what is most unfortunate about it is the blown Achilles.
Right.
Because I was actually on ESPN radio co-hosting with Anita Marks on Saturday, the day before, ESPN radio in New York, 98.7 FM. And, I was kind of letting Anita know some of the things that I'd heard, and what I can tell you based on what I hear on the grapevine and what I heard from a few people, and this is kind of obvious, right, was the Achilles tear changed the entire equation. But a less obvious piece to that was, from what I understand, it made Kevin Durant somewhat reluctant to commit to coming to New York by himself. It kind of went from him feeling like he was the show and he was the guy to being like, okay, well, I know I need somebody to come with me now. The extent to which he and Kyrie Irving agreed to come to New York back in March or after the Porzingis trade or whatever, I can't really comment on that. But what I can say was that the injury, from what I understand, changed the way that Durant felt about what he himself could accomplish by himself.
Right.
And I think that Kyrie's, for whatever reason, along the way, Kyrie deciding to go to Brooklyn, I think that had a lot to do with the report that we saw from Adrian Wojnarowski that Kevin Durant was now talking to Kawhi Leonard about the team.
Right.
If you read those tea leaves, to me, it kind of suggests that Durant thought that it was he and Kyrie that were going to be relocating to New York, assuming that part of it was true.
Right.
And that at some point, Kyrie said, well, look, if you want to go to the Knicks, that's fine, but I'm going to Brooklyn.
So maybe that's what swayed him to Brooklyn? What was the fear of coming here, being by himself? I mean, it's realistic. I mean, let's be honest. Let's take emotions aside and be honest here. The Nets put themselves in a good position to get this done. They have a good coach. They competed hard. They won 40-plus games, got a 6 seed. They have much better role players and supporting cast right now. For KD coming back next year, it is a better position for him. If all that happened and Kyrie decided to go.
Right. And by next year, we mean next year as in calendar year.
Yeah,
right?
calendar year. Yes. Calendar year. Right.
Right. And then as far as, let's be honest here, as people that grew up watching this franchise and people that grew up watching this team, I mean, in terms of legacy, which player can you really say has ever come to New York and left with a better legacy than what he had before he came?
It all goes into the garbage, from Ewing to Marbury to Carmelo, KP. Everybody leaves in disgrace. Amari
as well.
Everybody leaves in disgrace, man. Everybody leaves in some sort of turmoil or negative energy, man.
Right.
It's true.
So it's not, for me, logically, it's not difficult to understand the decision.
Yeah.
So as a Knicks fan, really what your challenge is now at this point would be to, Brandon Tierney. Brandon Tierney is a guy that I've known for a long time, but I'm not friends with BT, But he put up a tweet that I actually kind of liked just not too long ago. BT said, you got to just take it on the chin, get up, and just move on.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do as a Knicks fan. Now, obviously, it's going to hurt for a long, long time. But the one thing that maybe you can find some comfort in as a Knicks fan is, I've been around long enough to remember a lot of super teams, quote unquote super teams, that came together. You think about Steve Nash and Dwight Howard joining Kobe in LA.
Yeah. Karl Malone, Gary Payton.
Well, yeah, but at least those guys got to the final.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like if you talk about expectations relative to what they actually accomplished, that team with Dwight Howard and Steve Nash and Kobe and those guys, that team didn't even come close to fulfilling the expectations that we had.
Sure.
And I mean, that's just the example that comes to mind immediately. But the point is this: when something happens and we make predictions about where we expect that team to go or how good we expect them to be, a lot of the time we're wrong, And I'm not saying that we're going to be wrong about the Nets. I think at this point it's a safe bet to assume that once Kevin Durant gets back on the floor with that team, that those guys will probably be the favorite in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
I think Giannis will have something to say about that. Whether or not Kawhi re-signs in Toronto, I think that'll obviously have a big impact on that. But from where we sit right now, it's fair to believe that about the Nets. But history is littered with examples of teams that we had high expectations of that don't live up to it, number one. But also history is littered with examples of trades that happen and transactions that happen that when they do, we think one thing and it ends up going completely left. It ends up being the other way.
That's true.
And a good example of that is Paul George's trade to the Thunder, right? A lot of people felt that the Pacers got cents on the dollar back, but now a few years later, Victor Oladipo is an all-star and Domantas Sabonis is one of the more productive role players in the league. So I only say all that to say, as far as the Knicks are concerned, and Knicks fans, the challenge would be to focus on the positives right now. And the positives is that unlike 2010 with LeBron, the Knicks they did trade away Porzingis to get the cap space. And that's something that I think is the worst part of all of this, is now it's just like, wow, well, then what was the point of trading Porzingis away?
Well, on the flip side, listen, we still don't know the absolute truth, right? We hear the Knicks side, we hear a little bit of KP side, but we don't really know the truth, right? But what we hear is that he didn't want to be here.
Right.
So, my thing is, could they have, mended fences or could the Knicks have tried a little bit harder to mend fences? I guess maybe. But to me, it's like the trade had to be done regardless of what the stakes were in the future.
Yeah. Well, based on what I know, I can tell you that the relationship soured to the point where Kristaps did not want to be here.
Right.
In terms of not knowing the truth or whatever, like he definitely did not want to be here. He made that clear to the organization.
Yeah.
I think if you want to second guess that decision, what you should ask yourself was, what extent should the Knicks have gone to make things right with Porzingis, to the fact that he would have wanted to be here.
Right.
But if that meant hiring his medical team, if that meant giving him his own personal security, if that meant giving his brother
long staff, right?
Access, you know what I mean? If it meant those things, the question that you have to ask yourself as a New York Knicks is whether or not you should have just done whatever it took to keep that guy happy.
Right.
But the point is this: the past is the past.
Yeah.
And it's as we speak.
It's just hard to move it forward, Mo. You know, because
especially right now.
Right now, man,
so
17-win season. The lottery didn't go our way, but we came around to RJ. We're optimistic about RJ. But you know, all year the focus, the attention was on getting these max players. The organization was confident. I wouldn't say that they led us on, but they were confident in this as well. So, like you said, logically it makes sense, but emotionally it hurts, man. It's a kick to the guts, man.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what I was getting at with all of that is, right now the Knicks are in a different position than they were in 2010, right? Yeah. So in terms of the cap flexibility, in terms of, you know, this is a team that, what did they win last season? 17
games.
Personally, now I don't have any sourced information on this, but what I think is that David Fizdale did a great job last season of coaching the team well, but coaching them to not win games. And I think that was by design, because I think the team wanted to go all in on trying to get Zion, even though they knew it was an uphill climb. I think that they wanted to have the worst record. Now, I know it might sound crazy, but to me, that's really the only way to explain a lot of the questionable substitution patterns that we saw, a lot of the questionable rotation decisions that we saw in some games, and the Knicks coughing up games that seemed winnable over the course of the season. There were a lot of those games.
Yeah.
And a lot of the losses that they had were losses that were, 6-point, 7-point games that a different bounce here or there could have gone differently. I don't really want to go too far down that rabbit hole, though, because like I said, that's really just my personal opinion. But I say all that to say, Alonzo Trier, Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett. I don't know how you feel about Frank Ntilikina, but Frank Ntilikina is a player whose name, I guess, could be mentioned there as well. The Knicks have young players who seem to have decent ceilings, whose best days we certainly know are ahead of them, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, as of this moment, as the clock just strikes 6 p.m. Eastern time, as of this moment, they don't have cap clogging contracts with over-the-hill veterans saddled to that roster. Right. So they have cap flexibility. They have some young pieces. And then most importantly, when you think about the trades that the team could have made over the past year, 18 months, or what have you, they have their first round draft picks, right? They have draft picks that they got from the Porzingis trade. So the cupboard is not bare here.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like there definitely is an ability to be somewhat malleable and to try to be smart and to try to understand that salary cap space is actually currency in the NBA. When you think about what Sam Hinkie did with the Philadelphia 76ers, what Danny Ainge did with the Boston Celtics in some of their more lean years, these are executives that took on undesirable contracts from teams that wanted to avoid the luxury tax. They say, you know what? Listen here, play. I'm gonna need a second round draft, but you're gonna have to come up off that if you want me to take. You're gonna have to come up off a lottery protected first round pick if you want me to save you this $20 million. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that now, making the decision to sign Kevin Durant or sign Kyrie Irving, that's easy. Now I think is where Scott Perry is really going to be challenged. And he's now going to have to prove to us that he can do what Sean Marks did and basically get blood out of a stone, because that's exactly what Sean Marks has done now with such a remarkable turnaround.
True indeed, man. Well said. Let's take some calls, Moke. Let's hear from some Knicks fans. Some Knicks fans want to react to this. Let's go to Brooklyn. Kevin from Brooklyn wants to talk about. He's crushed by the news. Kevin, how you feeling, man?
CP, Moke, Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, bro.
I hear you, brother. What's up, man?
Fellas. So I've been thinking about an analogy ever since I've heard the news. You know the episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Will Smith and his dad?
Yeah. Why don't nobody want me?
So he's like, why you don't want me, man? Why don't nobody want us, man? Why don't nobody want us, man? Honestly, I had some trepidation when it comes to, Kevin Durant coming off an Achilles injury and the history of Achilles injuries. But just having the best player in the world, one of the 3 best players in the world, saying they want to be here, right. I wanted that, man.
Yeah.
I wanted that. And it just hurts. It hurts, CP.
Yeah.
It hurts, Smoke.
Yeah, Kevin. I mean,
go
ahead, Kevin. One last thing. Go ahead.
So, one last thing. I just want to tell Knicks fans, keep your head up. I know right now it hurts. It's hard to stay positive. But we do have some good things going for us. We do have a nice young nucleus. We do have all the cap space in the world. We just got to keep building. And it will turn around. One day it will turn around and someone will want us. So,
okay.
God bless y'all, brothers, man.
Appreciate the call, Kev. Appreciate the call,
Kevin, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and it was just confirmed on the boardroom, Moke, that, KD going to Brooklyn on his IG page. So, good luck to him. But shout out to everybody in the chat. We got 1,200 people watching on YouTube alone. Salute to everybody wherever you guys are watching from. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Share these videos. Salute to everybody watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you guys are watching from. Tough day for the Knicks fan base, but, this is the free agency show, and we're going to keep going. The show must go on. And as Moke said earlier, let's see how Scott Perry earns his keep here on how he kind of builds around this young core that we have. J.Ellis is out. He's got to take care of some family stuff right now. So it's me and Moke for the time being. If J.Ellis makes it before the show's over, then we'll get him in here. Moke, one thing I wanted to ask you. A lot of people kind of talking about how, the Kyrie and the Kemba stuff kind of leaked earlier yesterday. The KD stuff leaks now before 6 p.m. How do these teams kind of get around the tampering rules when these things are kind of, leaked out there earlier than the start of the moratorium period?
Yeah, I think that's actually a great question and a great point. And I think that's something that the league is going to have to take a look at and try to figure out if they want to be more aggressive in enforcing their rules against negotiation windows and such. But for pretty much as long as I've been covering the league, which is almost 10 years now, actually, for as long as I've been doing it, it's a well-known secret. It's a poorly kept secret that agents, like, these guys talk, like, you know what I mean?
Right,
like, and that's part of the reason why a player has an agent, right? Is so he doesn't have to be trying to negotiate his own stuff and have to do it. Like, players have enough to worry about, you know? So the communication between agents and front offices, like, that's something that's pretty much happening 365 days a year,
right?
I think at this point, what we're seeing is I think some of it is probably competition in the media and in the reporting market, where guys are just getting better sourced. I think that has a part to do with it. The other thing that I think has to do with it, I also think that people that are closer to players are more emboldened to share information before the time when they might actually be authorized to. And I think part of the reason for it is because, historically speaking, as far as I know, the league hasn't really been super duper aggressive in enforcing rules related to impermissible contact between representatives and teams. And, something like that is only going to change if the competition committee or if some of the more respected NBA owners decide that they want to stand up and make some noise about it to Adam Silver and to his office, And I'm just not really sure that there will be enough momentum for that. And the other thing is, in the recent past, the instances where teams have been fined or they've been disciplined for violating rules against tampering and such, it's been things that were egregious and on the record and videotaped and video recorded. You know what I mean? But when people get together at All-Star Weekend, and when people get together during the finals, and when people get together during the NBA draft combine and at the draft, there's really no way to prove who spoke to who about what when.
Yeah,
you know,
so it's hard to get around it.
Right, there's no text messages. And I mean, that's just a simple fact of human life. You know, part of the reason why when we decided we want to do a business deal, part of the reason why we have contracts is to memorialize that, right? If you don't write something down, it's very difficult to enforce. It's also very difficult to prove.
Right.
And that's the reason why it's going to be difficult for the league to crack down. Now, I will say this. The fact that the details of so many agreements and contracts and such like that leaked so far in advance of the permissible window, I do think the league is going to have to take a look at it, but I'm not sure ultimately that they'll be able to do anything about it. Like, it's just something that is going to come with the business, especially when you're talking about so much commerce and deals that are $150 million.
It's a lot of money at stake, man.
Exactly, you know. One thing that I do also want to add, I want to say that I think responding to Kevin, who kind of called in as far as like, why don't nobody want us, you know, the Fresh Prince joke or what have you. I think that this moment in time right now should be very humbling for Knicks fans, as well as for the Knicks organization. And the reason I say that is because people that grow up in New York City, most of the people that I know that grow up around here, and a lot of the transplants that come here, like, oh, this is the greatest city in the world. You know, like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Why wouldn't somebody want to come here and win and play?
We've been saying this every year, man. Every year. Madison Avenue, they can make the money about the big market. No one has come here. No one has wanted it except for the last person was Melo, if you want to say it that way.
It's a wrap. Like, that whole conversation
means nothing. It's done.
And that whole mindset, it's obvious that is something that, well, you know what? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to walk that back a little bit, because you could make the argument that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant came here for those same reasons, because they're going to be in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But what I mean specifically for Knicks fans, this idea of, oh, of course he'll want to come to the Knicks, because if he wins here, if he wins for the Knicks, it's the greatest thing ever. Like, that whole mentality, you gotta kind of pause that now, because I think at this point there is more than enough evidence to suggest that that's not enough.
It's over, man. We gotta give that up. We gotta give that up, man. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Chi-Town. Josh from Chicago. He wants to talk about how the KD move affects the Knicks. Josh, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, what's up? You know, my cousin, he up in the room, he's crying because he's a Knicks fan. He's been a Knicks fan for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that I know the feeling on missing out on big talent, whether it be from injuries with Derrick Rose, you know, missing out with Jimmy Butler. But what I can say is, you know, our GMs, our front office, we've been trying to make moves. You know, we've been creative with our moves with Zach LaVine and all that. So when it comes to, like, missing out on Kevin Durant, you know, it's going to hurt right now, but you never know. You might be able to make moves. You got some good cap salary.
Yeah.
You may be able to sign some decent role players here and there. And, you know, slowly but surely, you might be able to become a bigger market, better team.
Yeah.
And after that, you never know. You know, you'll be able to sign that better and better players. You know, that's what I've been trying to explain to my cousin all day.
Okay. Appreciate the call, Josh. The voice of reason, man. Yeah, I mean, listen, as Moke said, and as we said here, the Knicks have the flexibility. The cupboard is not bare. You know, we do have our young assets. We do have, I think, 7 first-rounders within the next 5 years and some cap flexibility to, you know, go out there and fill this. We got to start winning. At the end of the day, we got to start winning. And as much as we, you know, hate that the Nets got this done and pulled the trigger on the deal, you also got to give credit to them for doing so. They themselves made some terrible moves in the past, and they rebounded. They rebounded with a good coach in Kenny Atkinson. They put some good role players out there. They took their cap flexibility and made moves. And here it is. This is the fruits of their labor. They got KD and they got Kyrie Irving. So hats off to them, man. Hats off to them. Go ahead,
And the other thing that I'll just kind of add to that, to me, is that they've kind of shown you that players want to go somewhere where there's a foundation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I said this on ESPN radio on Saturday, that if nothing else, at the very least, what Sean Marks did was show evidence of them building something there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's an important part of the entire equation. And then aside from that, you know, when you're thinking about next year and you're thinking about what's going to happen from here, I think there's enough evidence now for you to conclude that if you want a Kevin Durant or a Giannis or a Donovan Mitchell or whoever, you have to build that guy. You have to raise him up from.
You gotta raise him, man. The foundation has to come from the draft.
Exactly. And then the other part of it is, if and when a guy like Anthony Davis decides that he wants to move on from his small market team,
yeah.
And if Giannis were to make such a decision with the Milwaukee Bucks, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Milwaukee or New Orleans gets to a situation where they're like, okay, we got to trade this dude. If the best you can offer is Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox, New Orleans going to be like, nah, bro, like that's not good enough, right? So it's to me, it's kind of pointing back to the inevitable conclusion that if you want to win in the league, your scouting has to be top notch, and you have to know how to find good players. You can't year after year make decisions like drafting Frank Ntilikina over guys that went after him that were obviously better fits. Like you can't have Jordan Hills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't do that continuing. And now the other part of that I will say is, you're not expected to nail every draft pick, right? Because we look at the Sixers and it's like, oh, well, yeah, they got Ben Simmons and they got Joel Embiid, but I mean, they had Michael Carter-Williams in there, right? They had Nerlens Noel in there. They had Jahlil Okafor. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the point is, they nailed those two, right?
That's right.
And at the end of the day, like that's really what you need as a foundation, because signing your way and building your way through free agency to a championship, like
it's a pipe dream.
It's not the tried and true way of building a winning franchise and a winning culture. Right. And for a long time, we've thought that the Knicks would be able to sort of cut against the grain in that regard. But again, I think that this happening is evidence of the contrary.
True indeed.
Right? And it's time for everyone to be smarter about that, realize that, and adjust their expectations if you're a fan. And if you're the New York Knicks, maybe adjust the way that you have gone about doing your business. And at this point, I'm still going to give Scott Perry the benefit of the doubt. And again, with RJ Barrett, obviously now we got to see what he's able to do for the franchise. But the point is, at the end of the day, you have to have an infrastructure that is good at finding players and developing them. And until you can do that, in today's day and age, you are not going to be able to attract marquee talent.
True indeed, man. Back to the phones. Let's go to Jay from Florida. He wants to talk about the KD signing. Jay, how you feeling, man? All right, I think we just lost Jay.
What's good, fella?
Oh, Jay, call back. I hung the phone up. I didn't hear you. Jordan from Maryland's up next. Jordan, how you feeling, man?
Yo, it's all good. First, big y'all up, man. For Long Island representing, man.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Listen, man. Yeah, from Lakeview, West Hempstead, man.
Okay.
Anyway,
we all neighbors.
I just think as Knicks fans, man, the worst thing about us is that we lack patience, man.
Yeah.
We lack patience, and we don't allow ourselves to do it the right way. We're willing to sacrifice everything, for that shiny coin. You know what I'm saying? Like with Amari, we're willing to pay top dollar to an injury-prone player.
Yeah.
For Melo, we're willing to trade the house. And right now, we were willing to pay top dollar to somebody we're not even sure he's going to come back as the same player.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, Kyrie, I don't think he would have fit our culture. I don't even think the Knicks brass was looking towards him, because you stopped really hearing much about him after the whole Celtics fallout. And KD, I really wasn't hyped about him, man, because I felt like it would have been such a Knicks move to sign this dude. And then 2 years later, when he finally does get back to somewhat himself, he's on the tail end of his career, or he doesn't come back to be the KD that we all know. That would have been such a Knicks move. Now we locked in with top dollar. So all I'm saying to my Knicks family, please be patient. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think in Perry and Mills, they doing a great job, man.
Okay. I appreciate the call,
I think
Jordan.
if we patient, I think it'll come back.
All right.
All right, yo, keep doing your thing.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it, man. Hey, listen, Monkey, he's right, man. But at the end of the day, it's like
it's Jordan, right?
Jordan. Yeah, Jordan. He's right, but at the end of the day, it's like, when you've been losing for so many years, and they put themselves in so many knots. The Amari and the Melo situation set us back once again. Trading for Bargnani set us back once again. Glenn Grunwald should have got a ring from Toronto for making that Bargnani trade, which helped them get Kawhi Leonard. It's just crazy. So when you do that now and you become the worst team in the league, even though the windows don't align to get two max players with this young core, even though KD's coming off of a catastrophic injury, there's still, in the back of your head, you still want to win. You know what I mean? You still want to get those pieces, especially from the Nets. Especially from the Nets, man. You want to be able to say that you accomplished something right away.
And it's like big brother, little brother syndrome, right? Like if LeBron went to the Clippers, instead of the Lakers, like that would have been devastating for the Lakers, right? And then, as far as Jordan's call is concerned, I won't even say that I disagree with him or, the mindset or the attitude. I think that's the attitude that you have to have if you're the Knicks. But the truth of the matter is that Kevin Durant is a two-time Finals MVP, right? And Kyrie Irving is someone that, and I've talked about this a lot. Kyrie grew up in Northern Jersey, and he represents Jersey to the fullest, and he grew up a Nets fan. But Kyrie's basketball skills and talents were sharpened on the asphalt of Rucker Park. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And West 4th Street, right? Mm-hmm. New York City playgrounds, okay? So for those guys to switch teams as free agents and to come to New York, but not go to the Knicks.
It's kick to the gut, man.
It's a punch to the gut. Now, obviously 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we don't know what the future holds, right? So Kyrie Irving, looking at it objectively, Kyrie has definitely had some durability issues over the course of his career. Mm-hmm. We're not sure what he's going to look like a year from now or 2 years from now. Same thing for Kevin Durant, obviously, who just tore his Achilles tendon. But at the end of the day, today, like, we don't have a crystal ball, right? Miss Cleo, she don't work for the Knicks. You know what I mean? We're based on what we know right now, all you can do in life, really, not just as a sports executive or as a stockbroker or whatever. In life, all you can do is make what seems to be good decisions to give you the highest odds of success based on the information that you have at present, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at it through that lens, there are zero teams in the NBA that would turn down the opportunity to give Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant $80 million or however much money it is to play basketball for them. Nobody would say no to that. So in that regard, you can't deny the fact that this is a devastating day for the Knicks franchise and for Knicks fans. Yeah. But you just got to move on. You just got to have the right attitude about it. You got to have perspective about it. And like I said, maybe as a Knicks fan, you adjust your expectations a bit. And as the Knicks organization, you realize, hey, for whatever reason, we can't trade for guys like Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving or Kawhi Leonard when they find themselves on a trading block, right? Mm-hmm. We can't do that for some reason.
Don't have the assets yet.
And then when guys decide to leave as free agents for whatever reason, we can't sign those guys. Well, why is that? Mm-hmm. And as an organization, your challenge is to ask yourself those tough questions and then obviously go out and find those answers. And that's what the Knicks need to do now.
It's true indeed, man. The last draft pick to make it to a second contract was Charlie Dan Ward. Charlie Ward. You know, and to your point, I even pointed to the Raptors situation where it was the same thing. You know, DeRozan couldn't take them to the promised land, but he was a good enough player, and they were able to draft well enough and get Valanciunas to be able to turn those guys into Kawhi Leonard, into Marc Gasol, and be able to pair them up with their current infrastructure to go all the way. You know, so whether these guys take it to the promised land or not, you still have to draft the right players, develop, as you said, Mo, have the scouting team, you know, in place to do their homework, and we need to build that foundation first.
I'm gonna add to that point. I'm gonna add to that point with the Raptors as well, because aside from that, Jakob Poeltl was also involved,
right,
in those deals to bring in that talent. Yeah. Number one, but aside from that, they don't win the title without Pascal Siakam, in my opinion.
Right.
Fred VanVleet.
X Factor, undrafted.
Right? Kyle Lowry. Now, Lowry wasn't drafted by them, but they raised Lowry up from a pup.
Yeah.
The same way that James Harden was raised up as a pup by the Houston Rockets organization. Mm-hmm. So, again, I mean, as far as where the Knicks go from here, so I've been on with you now for the past couple of minutes, and my phone is blowing up.
Yeah, let's talk about what's next. We're going to get back to the calls, but let's talk about where we go from here.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to figure out, I got a couple of texts from people in the industry, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm not reading any of them, obviously, because I'm on here with you now. So I don't know if anything may have happened in the past 30 minutes or so because we've been on air, right? Okay. So, but what I would say as the Knicks is, I think the idea of, so we spoke about sort of using your cap space as currency a little earlier, which I think is a good idea, obviously. But taking a flyer on a guy like a Julius Randle, you know, Chris Middleton, from what I understand, he's not leaving Milwaukee. But it doesn't always have to be the splashiest guy. Yeah. It doesn't always have to be the Kevin Durant or the Kyrie Irving.
Right.
Sometimes the best move is signing a guy like a Dwayne Dedmon. You know, it might be signing a guy like a Chris Middleton. Yep. It might be signing a guy like a D'Angelo Russell, who's going to become an unrestricted free agent. Now, again, I don't know. I know there's talks about him in the Timberwolves and the Lakers.
Yeah, they're saying the Timberwolves seem to be strong contenders for him if they can trade Wiggins.
Right. Okay. And cool. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I mean, Wiggins, I don't know if he would be the answer for the Knicks.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But my point is, it doesn't always have to be the splashiest guy. We would have never known how special of a player James Harden was if he stayed in OKC. And Daryl Morey, for whatever, was like, you know what? I think this dude has the goods. Like, let's take a chance on him.
Yeah.
So if you're the Knicks right now where you sit, I don't think taking a chance on anybody is the dumbest idea. You know, if you can go out there and you can get a decent rotation player and you can attach him to a reasonable contract, then that might end up being a win. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, again, Scott Perry's going to have to earn his money.
He's going to have to earn it right now.
We have to see how he rebounds from this and where the Knicks go from here.
Absolutely, man. Just refreshing Woj. So he's saying Al-Farouq Amino went to the Magic. Mirotic went to the EuroLeague. That was announced last night. He dipped off to the EuroLeague. Garrett Temple looks like he's going to Brooklyn. 2-year, $10 million deal. Terrence Ross going back to the Magic. 4 years, $54 million. I think someone said J.J. Redick to the Pelicans. I haven't seen it yet. Derrick Rose to the Pistons. Valanciunas returns to the Grizzlies. 3 years, $45. Derrick Rose to the Pistons. 2 years, $15 million. Gerald Green returning to the Rockets. We knew about the Harrison Barnes deal, 4-year deal. Chris Middleton gets the 5-year, $178 million deal. So that's what? Almost $38 million. Almost $38 million for Chris Middleton. Wow.
It sounded like a max contract. What was that? 5 years, 178?
Yeah, 5 years, 178.
Yeah, that's a good piece of change. It's $36 million a year. Might have to see if he could let me hold something.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Middleton for
Terry Rozier was in there as well, right?
The bag.
Going to Charlotte in a sign and trade deal.
Yeah, and it seems like the Nets will get a first-round pick in that deal, from what I saw. I think I saw that on your page.
Yeah, so I tweeted that, and a lot of people kind of came at me you know, and I didn't really understand. I mean, I guess sometimes I have opinions that I think are things that are that you can't argue, you know, and sometimes I'm wrong. Okay, I will definitely say that, but a lot of the time I'm right. I think I'm right a lot of the time, and I think 90% of teams in the NBA would trade D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie Irving. The hope for D'Angelo Russell is that he can be as good and as effective of a player as Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie is older. Kyrie does have injury history. You know what I'm saying? But again, based on what we know right now today, I think most people would take Kyrie over D'Angelo Russell. So if you're the Nets and you're making that trade, but also getting a first round pick from the Celtics. Now, I don't know what the protections might be on the pick. I don't even know if it is the Celtics' own pick, right? It could be a pick that they got from the Kings or whoever. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure about that.
They're sitting on a lot. They're still sitting on some assets there.
Right, but my point is, if I feel like I'm getting the superior player, and obviously the Nets feel that way, and I'm also going to get a draft pick, to me, that's like, whoa.
That's a good move.
Now, what I will say is, I did see that doing that trade might actually enable the Celtics a little more cap flexibility or what have you to up their offer to Al Horford.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the case, then I see why the Celtics would be willing to give up that first round pick, because Al Horford, keeping him with that team, I think is worth the first round pick, you know? And if I'm the Nets, maybe I don't want to help a team in my division, right? Maybe I don't want to help them stay better. You know what I mean? So I get it from that standpoint, but just looking at it in the box, like, I mean, I'm getting the better player and I'm also going to get a draft pick for it. Like, well, yeah, I'll sign up for that.
Yeah.
So to me, like, I think that when I saw that news, I'm just like, man, like, you know, there's a win and then there's a knockout win. You know what I mean? And to me, like, that's a knockout for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, I mean, certainly good for them. I think, I mean, on the Randle topic, you know, we certainly need a 4. I would certainly bring Randle in. D'Lo is certainly interesting. I just don't know if I want to give him a max contract, man. I don't know if I want to give him a max contract. He certainly fits, you know, as a 23-year-old player. He certainly fits, you know, where they're trying to go. The market will certainly be competitive for him. We know Timberwolves are after him, Lakers, Pacers, maybe Phoenix. I'm not sure if you heard anything about Phoenix, but I'm just not sure if he's a max player.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, when I'm talking about getting these guys, you know, I'm not putting a dollar amount on it necessarily. So if D'Angelo's reps came to me and said, you know, we want a 4-year max, would I have pause about that? Maybe I would. Yeah. But it wouldn't be that difficult for me to talk myself into it. And I've been covering this league long enough. Well, let me not even say that, because at a time, I think Magic Johnson signed like a lifetime deal with the Lakers or something like that. But I remember, you know, when the Knicks got Jamal Crawford, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a 7-year contract. You know, I think it might have been 7 years, $56 million, something like that. You know, when they did it was a sign and trade. I'm just talking off the cuff. So
it was a sign and trade deal. It was a sign.
Well, I was going to say, I think it was also a sign and trade for Eddie Curry as well.
I'd have to check.
I'd have to check that too. But the point is, I remember when contracts were 7 years long.
Yeah.
You know, 7 years is a really long time. Like, it's a really long time. 4 years, and then you figure, even if a guy wants a 4-year deal, he's probably going to have a player option in the 4th year. So in most instances, when you're signing a player, now obviously if D'Angelo hurts himself in the 3rd year, he's going to opt into that 4th year. So yes, you will be on the hook. But my point is, a 4-year deal in many, many instances really is only 3 years of a guaranteed contract anyway.
Yeah.
So 4 years to me is not 7 years. It's not 6 years. So it wouldn't be that difficult to talk myself into that. Now, if I'm the Knicks, I would just kind of have to know what my other options and alternatives were before I decided whether or not I would want to give D'Angelo Russell a 4-year max. And the same exact thing for Julius Randle. I'd have to know what the other alternatives were. So case in point, if I'm the Knicks and I decide I want to go the Sam Hinkie route or the Danny Ainge route, the first team I'm calling right now is I'm calling the Charlotte Hornets, because the Hornets just lost their franchise player. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me not say they just lost their franchise player. I don't know if there's been any news about that, but the indications are that Kemba Walker's he's heading to Boston, right? This is a team that got a lot of ugly contracts and not even long money, but bad money deals, right? Bismack Biyombo comes to mind.
Oh, gosh.
Nick Batum, if I'm not mistaken, is still on the contract with that team.
Yeah.
That's a team that desperately wants to get themselves away from the luxury tax and reduce payroll as much as possible because they're trying to tear it down and rebuild, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm Scott Perry, I say, look, man, you want to come up off that Bismack Biyombo contract, I could help you.
Yeah. It's funny because according to them, they're not looking in that direction, at least this year. I mean, of course, things can change, you know. But from what Begley had reported earlier in the week, he says that they're not looking to take on contracts for additional assets at the moment. But
these guys are 1 year deals, though. Yeah. That's what I think is important. So I'm saying if you're not going to get Kawhi Leonard. It doesn't seem like that's even in the cards right now. But if you're not going to get Kawhi, and if we're to take the organization at their word, if they're not going to overspend on second tier guys like a Tobias Harris or a Jimmy Butler or whoever, well, the Knicks, by rule of the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, they have to spend 90% of the salary.
But see, this is where now I think they're going to get into overpay mode because guys are flying off the blocks. Bogdanovich is signed with Utah. So, I mean, some guy's going to come in here on a multi-year deal on a deal we might not like because they got to spend that money.
Well, but that's the point that I'm making. It doesn't have to be a multi-year deal. Right?
Okay.
If they have to spend, case in point, I don't know what the payroll looks like right now for the Knicks, but on the ledger right now, let's say that they have $52 million committed for the 2019-20 season, right? Just using easy numbers, if that 90% number is $90 million, they got to spend $38 million more dollars, right?
Right.
If Bismack Biyombo has 1 year left on his contract at $18 million, instead of going out there and signing Julius Randle and giving him $30 million for 1 year, you can absorb Biyombo's contract right onto your ledger with the cap space. Get a conditional first and a future second from Charlotte. And if it's a 1 year deal, you're really not hurting yourself. Now, where it does hurt you is that it doesn't allow you to go and get a guy like a Julius Randle for the 1 year or a guy like a DeMarcus Cousins for the 1 year. But, I mean, if you're signing those guys to 1 year deals, like, are they really going to be a part of the franchise's future anyway? That's you might be better off going that route. And I mean, think about a team like the Houston Rockets. Think about a team like the Miami Heat, right? These are teams that both want to make moves in free agency, but they have a lot of dead money on their books. The Knicks are in a situation where they can call up those teams. They can say, okay, look, you got to do it on a 1 year deal. I will take that, but I need 2 draft picks.
Yeah.
Miami, Pat Riley. Hey, remember us, right? You want us to help you so that you can go out and get Butler? Okay, you can give me one of them dudes.
Pony up.
You know what I mean?
Pat the Rat.
But you're going to have to come up off something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a young, promising player on a rookie contract, or maybe it's a first round pick or 2 second round picks in the future or whatever, things that you can later use as currency yourself. You know what I mean?
True.
And that's what intelligent front offices do.
Well, let's hope Ninja P has it. How you looking on time, by the way, Mook?
No, I'm good, man. I cleared the deck for you, man.
All right, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. All right, so let's go back to the phones. We got a ton of calls in here. Callers, just keep it, make it point and roll because we got a ton of callers. Shout out to everybody watching. We got, how many on YouTube? 1,400 watching on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. And next caller up, Ari from Manhattan. He's upset, man. Ari, what's going on?
What's up, man? I'm very upset. Very upset. I had a feeling. I think that we have to figure out why this happened because I don't understand why it happened. It's one thing if it was like one of the Cali teams or Miami or another city, but this is our city, and they just went to the little brother in our city. It's not like they were going to join the I don't know how many wins they won, like 45 wins. It's not like they were going to join that team because they lost D'Lo, so it's not like they were leads like a lot better than us. I think that this was a failure of the front office. I don't know if it goes back to Dolan or not.
Yeah, everybody seems to be blaming Dolan. I don't know. I just think we just weren't there yet, man.
I don't know.
I just think logically we just weren't there yet. We just weren't there yet. These guys have the infrastructure. They have the role players. Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, Harris. Now you bringing Kyrie back. This is a team that when KD comes back, as Mo said, is going to be shot up to the top of the East, or you would think so.
Right, I do think so. But now, like, listen, Bogdanovich is going to Utah. Damian Lillard
guys are flying off
for Portland. Like, all this stuff is happening, and
Brogdon
like
to the Pacers.
We're not. Yeah, I know Brogdon to the Pacers, Ricky Rubio to the Suns. I mean, I just think that there's some stuff that we as outsiders, I mean, maybe Moke is a little bit more of an insider, but like we as outsiders, I don't know if we know really what's going on behind the scenes, because it's just like Kemba didn't want to come home.
Yeah.
Kyrie didn't want nothing to do with the Knicks. KD wanted nothing to, like, no one even, these decisions were done weeks ago, it seems like. You know what I mean? So
I think KD's decision was done a long time ago. Definitely.
Right. And I just think that there has to be some kind of explanation for it. I'm not saying there has to be blame on someone. Personally, I think that, this is the front office's fault. You brought in Fizdale to be a player's coach to attract free agents. You brought in Scott Perry, and you made Royale Ivy an assistant coach. You have ISO Zoe. You have all this stuff, and it still wasn't enough. Someone has to answer for what's really going on here, and then hopefully we can clean it up. But right now, I think we're pretty screwed, man. So I don't know what to do. It's a very bad day in New York. Now Brooklyn's gonna take half our fan base.
hang in there, man. Hang in there. Listen, they're gonna take the young kids. Whatever, it is what it is. But I just think in reality, the stars did just not align. We didn't have the foundation, we didn't have the infrastructure, and we didn't have the pieces. And I think I agree with what Moke is saying. If Kyrie had already made that decision to go to Brooklyn, the news about Kawhi and KD teaming together, maybe he got cold feet and just said, listen, I want to be in New York. This team gives me a better chance to win, and I can still be in New York. It checks off all the boxes for him. And obviously the whole legacy about winning for the Knicks meant nothing. Meant absolutely nothing for him. In regards to Kemba, Moke, Mark Berman had came in with an article yesterday basically saying that Kemba's peoples, they didn't want to move back to New York, and Kemba didn't move back to New York. I don't know exactly why, but on a previous live stream, we had talked about it with one of our guys, Terry, and he was basically saying, like, some of these local guys may not want to come home and deal with the distractions that come with, being back home and playing in the Garden and your family, the ticket demands and all that. Maybe Kemba, for him, it's just he wants to keep it about basketball and still be able to compete, which is what the Celtics can do for him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely valid. Now, at the same time, if Kevin Durant was here and Kemba thought that he had a chance to come and succeed. See, I think what it is about a lot of players, and I'll even say this about Jim Dolan as well, right? A lot of players that come and play for the team and a lot of people that work for the organization love him. Like, a lot of people around him like him and love him, right? Mm-hmm. Now, there are people in the organization, and I mean, and you'll find this with any leader anywhere, right? But what I will tell you is that his reputation with people that work with him is not all bad.
Right.
Not all bad.
Listen, they brought Sprewell back. If they brought Sprewell back, it can't be that crazy. Oakley might, disagree, but Sprewell came back.
Right. Now, I don't. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make in all of that is that the reputation and the branding that the Knicks organization has from the outside, right, from people that are not here and from people that don't live here and don't have that first person experience. Like, I'm sure that everybody can relate to this. In life, you might go to a party or you might go to like a networking event or whatever, and you meet somebody, right? and you're like, oh, this person seems okay. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you know what? Maybe this person could be like a good business associate, or maybe it's even in your dating life, right? Like maybe it's a potential significant other or whatever. You meet somebody, and then you go to one of your friends, and you're like, oh, I met this dude John the other night. He seemed real smart. Like he might be able to help me with this business idea that I have or whatever. Your friend might be like, oh, John Smith. Nah. You don't want to mess with that dude because of X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
He may have had a prior experience with that guy.
It's different.
And he might tell you negative things. Now, in some situations, if you're like me, you'll say, nah, you know what? I got to judge every person on their own merit. I got to judge them on my own experience. So I'm going to have coffee with the guy and see what he's like and make my own decision, right?
Yeah.
Some people live their lives that way. Some people don't. Some people will hear a negative review from somebody they trust, and they're like, you know what? I'm not messing with him. You know what I mean? And I think that that's a very real thing that the Knicks organization has to kind of come to terms with a little bit. Like there are a lot of people out there that will be turned off by the idea of coming to New York, of coming to play for an owner and for a front office who employs some long tenured pieces that haven't really done much winning in the past 20 years. And you can't really, all you can do if you're the Knicks is try to convince them that it's different now.
You gotta
but if
win.
those guys don't have the faith, and if they're not willing to take that leap of faith, then that's just something that you have to work slowly to kind of change. You know what I mean?
Winning changes everything, man. Juan from the Bronx is up next. He says we'll be all right. Juan, what's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, bro.
Nah, I think we're gonna be okay. I'm not gonna lie, like, I was just playing my video games, minding my own business today, and, my friend hit me up, kept calling me. I didn't want to be bothered. I'm playing 2K, I'm playing NBA 2K19. I got KD and Kyrie on the Knicks. Playing, that's a fantasy team, and then he comes with the news and says that KD is going to Brooklyn. That I'm not gonna lie, it hurt because coming from Brooklyn itself.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the bright side though. We got a lot of good young pieces, man. Like I still think, me personally, you guys might look at me like I'm crazy, but if we can get somehow Julius Randle and D'Angelo Russell, we can somehow land those two. I think we're an AC team. I think we can make the playoffs, because we got a lot of good young pieces. Mitchell Robinson's a beast. I think he can only get better. All he needs to do is work on his jump shot, and I think he can be one of the, best big man in the league, in my opinion.
Okay.
And, I think we're going to be okay. I just wanted to let Knicks fans know that we're going to be fine. I know it hurts, but I think we're going to be good.
All right.
Okay?
Appreciate it, man.
We just got to look at the bright side.
All right, appreciate the call. Sorry to cut you, man, but we got a lot of calls. I just want to hear from some people that called in. They've been waiting for a while. Let's talk to Kevin in Harlem. Kevin says he's devastated, man. Kevin, how you feeling, bro?
CP, man, what's good, man? I'm devastated, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. I'm not giving up on Perry and Mills. I'm going to tell you why I'm not giving up on them, right? Mm-hmm. Because from the jump, I knew that Kyrie was going to do that. All that Brooklyn, once it started with Brooklyn, I said, yo, you know what? He's going to Brooklyn, and if KD followed, then so what? The reason why I say so what, because if we don't get a player like we got RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett and them other dudes, let them grow. Patience. I know we don't want to hear that, but trust me, it could have been a disaster waiting. You got to look at all the other situations that happened with Dice and all those people in those situations. So, I just want to tell the Knicks fans, Knicks Nation, we'll be okay.
Okay.
It's a heartbreaking day, but we'll get through it.
We'll bounce back, man. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call, Kevin. Let's go to Sergio from Brooklyn. He wants to talk about the difference between Brooklyn and the Knicks. Sergio, what's up, bro?
Hey, CP, what's going on, man? Moke, what's up, bro?
What's going on, brother?
I just wanted to talk to, I know you guys are getting into the difference between us and the Nets and how they got the whole infrastructure and all that. And, I mean, I get it, but coming into this season, I mean, they weren't even being expected to be where they're at now. You know what I'm saying? No one was talking about them being having the season that they did. No one predicted it, and they did. I mean, us from the jump, we knew we were going to be out for a while with KP being down. We were going in with the young guys. I think from the beginning we were ready to just, it was clear we were going to tank it, and that's what we did. So now just the fact that everyone's saying Brooklyn, that how Brooklyn is just so much better. It's the better of the two options between the two. I don't know. It's caught me at a weird place. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a little confused by it because we knew what we were going to do from the beginning. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I just wanted to hear y'all thoughts on that. So.
Okay. Yeah, you want to take that one?
Yeah. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Sergio.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sergio raises a good point, but for I think for a lot of Knicks fans, I mean, I guess because you're a fan, like fan is short for fanatic, right?
Of course.
And you might not be the most objective. It might be difficult for you to see things from sort of like an even light or even lens or whatever, right? But when people started talking about the genius and the brilliance of Sean Marks and all of that kind of stuff, like you really have to rewind and think about the situation that he inherited in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like when Sean Marks came in there was literally no light at the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And in very, very short order, if you go back and you trace every single one of the moves that not maybe every single one, but 90% of the moves that he made. And earlier I said that he got blood from a stone. And that's really what Sean Marks did. If you think about where he brought the team from when he initially inherited the situation that he inherited to even getting them in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
When you look back at the pieces that he traded to get D'Angelo Russell, right? When you think about him taking a gamble and drafting Karis LeVert, when you think about guys like Joe Harris and Spencer Dinwiddie, the Nets were a team that had no picks, and I don't remember exactly what their cap situation looked like when Marks took over, but if I recall correctly, they didn't really have that much cap flexibility.
They were buried. Really, Billy King buried them, man.
Exactly. So to inherit that situation, and then the other thing is, it's not like we just woke up one day and the Nets were like a juggernaut team. Yeah. You know what I mean? What happened was we saw signs and pieces little by little, right? Mm-hmm. When you talk to Kenny Atkinson, when you go to the games, when you see how the team competes, when you see how Karis LeVert develops, when you see how Joe Harris develops, when Joe Harris basically goes from being an unknown to going to All-Star and winning the three-point contest, mm-hmm. right? Like those little tiny things shine positively on the organization. And it's all evidence of you having a culture there that knows how to build something. And then the other thing that I will say that is positive about Sean Marks is think about Greg Popovich's tree and think about the San Antonio Spurs organization and all of the people that come out of that organization and go on and do successful things in the NBA. There's what's the word? Angels have halo. Mm-hmm. There's a halo effect coming out of the San Antonio Spurs organization that Sean Marks benefited from, right? Yeah. That helped him get the job in the first place. But mm-hmm. after he got it, I don't really know that. And maybe it's just, selective memory, but I can't really think of a move that the Nets organization made where I was just like, man, what were they thinking?
The Allen Crabbe one does come to mind. That deal was ridiculous.
But you can't say that because they used that cap space to get Kevin Durant.
Well, yeah. I mean, ultimately, yeah. But I mean, bringing him in to begin with, that was a rough deal. I'm saying bringing him in, not dealing him away, okay, and attaching the picks. Yeah, that turned out to be,
My apologies.
Right.
My apologies. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. And he did give Allen Crabbe that offer sheet.
Yeah.
And there was another player that. Maybe it was Damari Carroll.
Damari Carroll, yeah, that was crazy
from the
deal.
Raptors.
90 seconds.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not fair to say that he never made a bad or questionable move, mm-hmm. but at the end of the day, it seems like it was all a part of a plan and all going toward a goal. And now we kind of see that coming to fruition.
Yeah. When he put the picks up with Crabbe to deal him to the Hawks, I had a feeling that clearly they were confident in getting in two
They knew
max
something.
stars.
And I actually tweeted that
Yeah.
because I said, look, Sean Marks, this guy waited so long to get his own draft picks.
60 seconds.
Right? He's not gonna give up draft picks on a whim. And I tweeted that. Like, you can go on my timeline, and I don't even tweet that much. So if you go on my timeline, you won't have to go that far back to see me saying, if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm nervous, because it was very reminiscent of what Pat Riley did in 2010. He traded
he got rid
out
of everybody. He
Right.
got rid of
traded
everybody
out of the first round,
Yeah.
just to maximize his cap space. And obviously, it was an ends to a means. And now in Brooklyn, we know that it was the same.
We know that what it was, man. Well said. Back to the phones. Let's go to John from the Bronx. He wants to vent about the KD move. John, how you feeling, bro?
Yo. What's going on, CP?
How you feeling?
You can hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, man.
I'm all right, man. Yo, first of all,
10 seconds.
Flatteries and shit after the draft.
Okay.
I appreciate what you do and everything.
Appreciate it, man.
But listen, Moke, is it? Moke?
Yeah.
I'm not buying this Nets talk, bro. Like, I'm just not buying.
You're not feeling this?
If you look at what we got, no. Because if you look at what we got and then you look at what the Nets got, like, if you're really talking about building something, like, we have way more assets draft-wise than you guys coming up in the future, one. Two, like, all right, I understand you guys made the playoffs, but if you look at our squad, we got R.J. Barrett, number 3 pick. We got Mitch Robinson. He was on first rookie team. We got Kevin Knox, who's looking like a potential stud. Alonzo Trier, undrafted. If you go down our roster and down your roster, like, I'm just not buying that y'all was that much better than us. But anyway, it's all right though. I feel like this is typical Nets. You know what I mean? Typical Nets, as far as always just trying to do what we're doing, and then it panned out for them. But I think we should go after D'Lo. I think they messed up by letting D'Lo go. Feel me? Like, not saying that obviously Kyrie's better, but D'Lo's 23. He's gotten better every year. I don't see he fit well with the squad. I just think that was I don't think that's going to work out for him. Like, Kyrie's better, but.
All right, appreciate the call, John. Appreciate the call, man. Mocha, I think he thought you were a Nets fan, man.
I mean, that's okay, man. I'm a fan of everybody, man. I love everybody.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it was John, right?
Yeah, John from the Bronx. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what John was saying was, I'm being very complimentary of the Nets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at this point, from where we sit right now, it's like, okay, yeah, D'Angelo Russell, yeah, sure, he was good, but would Kevin Durant have come to Brooklyn to play with D'Angelo? And I think that's really the key question. And I think the answer to that is probably no, or else the Nets probably would have kept D'Angelo, right?
Yeah.
For the reasons that that have been stated. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, like, I don't really think. You know what? I'm gonna give Knicks fans a pass, man. I'm gonna give y'all until 6 a.m. Okay, 6 a.m. on Monday morning. But when the sun comes up on that's gonna be July 1st. When the sun comes up on July 1st, like, y'all need to just keep the Nets out your mouth, man. Like,
yeah, we gotta move forward, man.
Yeah, like,
we gotta move forward.
And you can't, like, the Nets' little brother in New York, like, all of that talk, honestly, it needs to be done, man. Like, it needs to be done, because if the Nets were the little brother, they would not have just signed two of the top 3 free agents on the market.
We got kicked in the teeth today, man.
You know what I mean?
We got
like,
kicked in the teeth today, man.
Just take it.
We got kicked in the teeth. For
be
sure.
humble. Listen to some Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
And change the expectations a little bit. Like, that would be my advice, man.
Yeah.
And just, root for the young guys on the team. Now, I will say this. Again, they do have pieces there in New York.
Right.
But you can't compare the roster of a 17-win team and a 44-win team and say, oh, we got better pieces.
Yeah.
Like, you're as good as your record says you are.
They're a now team. We're a future team. And that's what I said about Kyrie and Kemba making those moves yesterday. I said, listen, yeah, I'm tight that, 2 of our local talents didn't even give us a meeting. But at the end of the day, clearly they wanted to keep it competitive now instead of, being unclear of the future. And, of course, the KD Achilles injury changed everything. So I think the Nets, they are a now team. The Knicks are a future team. And I think that's what rang more importantly to these guys.
And I'll tell you what. If the Knicks can go from being a 17-win team, I hope that number is right. I keep saying
17. No, absolutely right. I watched every damn game. Struggled through it, but I watched them. 17.
All right. Now, I'll tell you what. If the Knicks go from a 17-win team to a 35-win team next season, well, then we can talk about there being progress. You know what I'm saying? It'll be evident progress at that point to say like, oh, well, they're heading in the right direction. But when you win 17 games and you have the worst record in the league, there's no objective evidence for you to say, oh, we got better pieces than the Nets. Because, I mean, the Nets, granted, they lost in the first round of the Sixers, but, I mean, they were in the dance, right? And they had an opportunity on the national stage to show Kyrie and show Kevin Durant what the future looked like for them, and it looks bright. You know what I mean? So, to me, like I said, it makes a lot of sense from that standpoint to understand why Kyrie and Durant made the decision they made. And especially, again, with Durant tearing his Achilles, that changed things. That changed the entire equation.
It was a game changer, man.
Right. It's unfortunate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's reset it. Shout out to everybody watching right now. Once again, we got over 1,200 people watching on YouTube. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. This is the home of the Die Hard Knicks fan, #1 show on YouTube for the fans, by the fans. CP from the Knicks Fan TV. I'm joined by my man, Moke Hamilton from The Athletic. J.Ellis couldn't make it with us tonight, man. He tried his best to be here, but he had some prior engagements. So salute to J.Ellis. I'm sure he's not feeling good about it either right now.
He ain't drowning his sorrow somewhere.
He just might be, man. He doesn't drink, but today might have changed things for him.
It might have been the exception for him.
Yeah, man.
Well, if he doesn't drink, man, maybe he's under the influence of something stronger.
Right. That's right. TM in the chat says JLs couldn't handle it. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Louis Aponte, Jack Rhodes, Ari, what's going on? Kieran Clark, Shells, what's going on? The Shells. Demo Samolis, what's going on? Don Day. If you guys are new to the chat, leave a hashtag new in the chat so we can shout you guys out. Also, rep your city, man. Wherever you guys are watching from, we like to see where you guys are watching from all around the world. So throw your city in the chats as well, and we'll see if we can shout a few out. Let's see what Woj is saying here. Moki's saying Rodney Hood.
The chat is lit right now,
man.
Yeah,
chat is going crazy.
I'm trying to read what people. I see people saying, "Oh, Moke," and they look like they're asking questions. But man,
it's hard. I even slowed it down. But the chat is going, Moke. I told you, Moke. This is what we do, man. This is what we do.
I'm gonna have to come back, man. I have to come back when I got some better lighting and I got my HD camera set up.
Absolutely, man. You're good for what it is right now, man. You're definitely good for what it is. So Rodney Hood back with the Blazers. As we said, Mirotic left. It looks like Utah wanted him, but Utah got Bogdanovich, Conley. That's a nice little lineup that they're throwing out there with the Spider. Utah's making moves. The West is wide open, man. So good for them. Thomas Bryant, 3-year, $25 million deal to go back to the Wizards. Jeremy Lamb, Indiana Pacers. Brogdon with the Pacers, 4 years, $85 million. And I think the Pacers also traded a first round, 2 future seconds to Milwaukee for Brogdon. So he moves from the Bucks to the Pacers. We'll see, if Oladipo can bounce back. It was a terrible injury he suffered.
Now, how about Brogdon, though, man? For this guy to go second round draft pick, rookie of the year, right? And in short order, man, the guy signs a 4-year deal for $85 million.
85. 4-year, 85 for Brogdon, man.
That's a storybook right there, man.
Yeah.
Imagine
he
that.
earned it.
I think about Bol, Bol. Some people thought he was lottery talent. Some people thought that, you know what I mean? Some people thought, he's gonna go in the 20s, man. This guy slipped real far. So
he slipped.
It goes to show you, man. Draymond Green, another positive statistic. You know what I mean? That's I'm happy to hear that story for him.
Solid two-way player, man. I would have liked him here. I still like him more in a supporting cast role, but you never know. He's still young enough. Maybe he hasn't reached the ceiling yet. Maybe he hasn't reached it yet. Shout out to Flazer Ingram. He says he's new. He's a Knicks fan for life. So salute to Flazer. Stay loyal. Tough day, but stay loyal, man. We'll be all right. All right, let's go back to the phones. Moke, just keep me honest on the time, because, I'll be here for a bit, but if you have to shake loose, just keep me posted.
Yeah, I got another 5 minutes.
Okay, no problem. All right, so let's take this call before you wrap. Felix from Brooklyn, he wants to.
I could go until 10 after if you.
Okay, no problem, no problem. All right, so Felix from Brooklyn, go ahead, Felix.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's tough that we lost out on the KD sweepstakes, but I messaged you on Friday on Twitter, and I told you about we were in a situation where we could build or we could strike the lottery. We didn't strike the lottery, but now we could just build. We know what our focus is.
Yeah.
I said get a couple veterans, show the guys the ropes. Take the chains off of the young guys from last year and just let them go out there and just rip it. You know what I mean? And then us Knicks fans, we're gonna hear it from like these Brooklyn fans. Just remember, they're like little kids, man. They're not real fans, And we just gotta stay the course. We just gotta stay the course, and and do what we gotta do, And then we're gonna be, we're gonna be the destination that everybody want to come to. You know what I mean? And that's all I gotta say, And just keep our heads up. We'll make a couple moves here and there, and the sky's the limit for us. You know what I mean? We don't have a wall blocking us. We have the sky's the limit because. We have so many options still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like we lost the money. We still got it. We
still got it. Like you said, guys. Appreciate it, Felix. Felix with the optimism there. Let's go to Oz from North Carolina. He says the Oakley situation influenced KD. Oz, how you feel, man?
Good. What's up, fellas?
Good. How you doing, bro?
Good. When I saw the Instagram pic with Katie and Oakley,
I didn't like it. I didn't like it, man.
I mean, it seems that like Oakley, almost sabotaged it.
I didn't like it, Mo.
KD of all the Knicks.
Oak been sleeping with the enemy all year, man. I wasn't feeling it, man.
Yeah, that's when I saw that, I said he's definitely not coming. And the Knicks do not have a good ambassador. They don't have a good recruiter. Like you got LeBron recruits people, you got Jerry West can recruit, you got Riley can recruit. These guys have nobody.
Well, who did the Nets bring to the table? Jason Williams. You know what I mean? Who the Nets? The Nets haven't had a this is the best all-season acquisition they've ever had in franchise history. I mean, Jason Kidd wasn't coming to that table for him.
No, but you know what? They got Kyrie to sign, number one, and that was expressed early on. And Kyrie and KD were kind of joined at the hip, it seemed. But I'm not even convinced. I'm actually, I'm not like a Knicks fan that's upset about this. I think it's actually positive to let the youth develop. They could absorb salaries. I mean, like they could do something crazy like get Beal by absorbing Wall, let's say, something really crazy like that. But they can let somebody like Barrett grow now, and Durant might not hit the floor till 2021. And so, I don't get why people are freaking out. I mean, right now it's going to be Kyrie playing for a year with that roster. DeAndre Jordan is old. I think this is like when they signed, KD and Garnett and Paul Pierce, like everyone gets all hyped up and hopped up, but these guys are older. I don't see it, man. Okay. I think the Knicks are in a good place, but I do think that D'Lo and Randle should be an option. If for no other reason, because they could pour in like 30, 35 a night and take the pressure off the kids. And then somebody like Knox say, "Yo, man, play some D." Like these guys score, and you play some D. So that's all I had to say. I don't think it's it's embarrassing more than anything else.
That's what I feel.
But I don't think Knick fans should.
Okay, appreciate it, Alex. Go ahead.
So
man.
anyway.
Yeah, I just wanted to say so. I think that this is common knowledge, but the picture with Charles Oakley, that wasn't current,
Yeah, no, it was an old picture, but I think it was. I knew it was an old picture, but to me, it was just Oak, tweeting that out after, the fraternizing with the Nets all year and hyping the Nets up all year. I was,
I mean, the optic was not the best thing to see as a Knicks fan, but it would be one thing if Kevin Durant tweeted the picture, but Charles Oakley is the one that put it out, right? So. But I mean, obviously it wasn't a good sign.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? But like I said, man, we got to move on. One last call, Mook.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Actually, let me just before we get that, let me just clarify something real quick, because I did actually see one thing in the chat that I kind of wanted to just address quickly, because somebody actually made a very astute point where they basically are like, well, Moke, on one hand, you said last season you don't think that Fizz was coaching to win games, but on the other hand, you said a team is only as good as its record, right? So it's like, well, how can I say those two things? And that's actually very fair. The response to that would be, Fizz not coaching to win games is actually my opinion, based on what I saw and based on the fact that I knew the Knicks organization would want nothing more than Zion, right? That's what I think. But that opinion is formed on covering the team and watching the team and being around the coach and listening to the coach and knowing people in the organization, what their mindset is, right? Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving don't know any of those things. Kevin Durant and Kyrie, when they look at the standings in April to see how many games they are behind the first seed or whatever, they're like, damn, the Knicks only won 14 games? Like, that's what they're seeing, right? And then when you go into a meeting, I mean, think about it. Why didn't the Pelicans want Mitchell Robinson? Why didn't they want Alonzo Trier, you know? We feel like these guys are good and they can play, but when other teams and other parties around the league are making determinations about you, they're looking at wins and losses at the end of the day. So when I say you're only as good as your record, I'm talking about pretty much to anyone that doesn't actually know your organization or know your team. And most of the players in the league, like, the first thing they're looking at is they're looking at numbers, you know, and the wins and how much money they're going to be paid. Like, those are usually two of the really, really important numbers.
Yeah.
So just wanted to clarify that point, and shout to the person in the chat that, you know, that made that point. You know, I didn't catch the name, but it was a good point.
Okay.
I wanted to respond to that.
Good points.
So yeah, let's get the last call in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm up on the clock, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
no problem.
Last one.
All right, let's go to let's see who's been waiting here. Devin from Brooklyn's been waiting here for a minute. He wants to talk about the effects on the Knicks' future. Devin, what's going on, bro?
How you doing, fellas? Love your show. Love everything about it. I love seeing like another brother doing things. Congratulations on that.
Thanks a lot, bro.
But I ain't gonna lie to you, fellas. I literally was supposed to go to the Spike Lee block party with my girl.
Oh, it was today.
I couldn't make it. Like, yeah, it's today.
Oh, wow.
I saw that KD stuff and I dropped to the floor. I text her like, look, can't go. Like, I probably won't come outside for another 2 days. Like, it was that real for me. But I was hurt. Then I had to watch, like, you know, listen to you guys, you know, speaking very intelligent on the situation. I said to myself, we're good. We just got to build with them. You know, I don't want, even though I love Stat, I don't want the Amari knee-jerk reaction. I say we go for Randle. I'm not sold on D'Lo. I'm just like you. I'm not sold on D'Lo. We go for Randle, and we give DSJ. And like you said, we still got money to play with. So, you know, let's just be smart, take on some one-year bad contracts, get rid of it. And when the time strikes, you know, then we just, you know, we react to it. But I got faith in Fizz, Perry, and Mills. I'm not too sure about Dolan, but, you know, I got faith in them. So that's all I want to say to you guys. Keep doing your thing, and God bless.
Thanks, Devin. Appreciate it, man. Moke, you want to take that before you go?
Yeah. So I definitely appreciate that, Devin. And like I said, man, that's really, you know, as a Knicks fan, that's really all you can do. You know, all you can do really is have faith in. And one thing that I'll kind of say, and I'll kind of leave it on this, is that, you know, you can't judge Scott Perry and his staff based on what his predecessors did and the mistakes that his predecessors made. And what the test is going to be for Jim Dolan and for, I guess, Steve Mills as well and the other executives there at Penn Plaza is how patient you're going to be with Scott Perry, right? Because when you think about it, the Knicks change leadership so much. Head coaches, right? Front office executives, general managers, whatever. They change leadership so much. Anytime you hire a GM, you have to give him time to show what he can do. You know what I mean? You have to give him time to find Mitchell Robinsons and Alonzo Triers and Kevin Knoxes and develop those guys and see what they can become. So I think a lot of the time when I talk to people about the Knicks and about, where they're going as an organization or what have you, they say, oh, the Knicks have been bad for so long, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, yeah, but that ain't got nothing to do with Scott Perry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the moves that Scott Perry has made and things that he's done since he came to New York. I mean, I think most of the moves, the Porzingis trade, in hindsight, now that you didn't get Durant or Kyrie Irving and perhaps not Kawhi Leonard, like the fact that you didn't get those guys, obviously now it gives you an opportunity to second guess it. Hindsight is 2020. You're going to say this and say that. So you'll have to accept that if you're Scott Perry, right? But I think that there are a lot of other positive moves that he's made so far, and he certainly has avoided the knee jerk, right? Like at the beginning of the season, Steve Mills himself said that we're not going to make the same mistakes we being the Knicks made in the past because I've seen that go wrong too many times. Like that's a direct quote from Steve Mills.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to at least give them the opportunity to show you that they're not lying. I actually just saw on my phone, I guess. So Tobias Harris is going back. Oh, well, there you go, right there.
Tobias to Philly. Yep.
So if you're a Knicks fan and you saw that pop up, Knicks 5-year deal, even though they couldn't offer him a 5-year, but if the Knicks offered Tobias Harris a 4-year max contract, then I could not defend such a move. Right. So that's the only thing that I'm going to say is you can't judge the front office. Like, yes, it's Knicks fans have been waiting a very long time for a winning team, etc. But at this moment in time, right now, where we sit with the young guys, with the cap flexibility, with the draft picks, I do think there's a route forward to building I was going to say contending, but before we say contending, let's just say a competitive playoff team in New York. And, you got to see how the rest of the summer plays out.
Well said, Moke. Well said to end on that note. Moke, man, I really appreciate you coming through and blessing the stream. Hopefully we could do this again, man. I'll definitely hit you offline, but thanks again, bro. I really appreciate it, man.
No problem, man. Bro. Thanks a lot for having me on. And to everybody tuned in, man, I appreciate you guys' support.
Just let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at The Athletic. I cover both the Knicks and the Nets for The Athletic. Born and raised in New York. I've been watching the Knicks for, my entire life. You know what I mean? And that's more than 30. I ain't going to tell you exactly how old I am, but it's more than 30 years. You know what I mean? So if there's someone that can relate to Knicks fans and understands this city and what Knicks fans have been through, it's definitely me. And if there's someone, I actually, I spent a couple of years working for SNY, and I actually covered the Nets their first, 2 years, 3 years in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So I was there from the beginning for Brooklyn, So again, if there's someone that knows a thing or two about this city and about basketball in the city and about the organizations and all of that, I think I'm definitely one of those guys. So like I said, man, go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter at Moke Hamilton. I'm on The Athletic. And like I said, man, I appreciate the kind words and the interaction that I get from a lot of you guys on the chat.
Thanks again, Moke. That was Moke Hamilton from The Athletic. TM or Dave, just throw the link to his Twitter in the chat so people in the chat could get to his profile real quick and follow him. Hey, listen, man, it's been a tough day. It's definitely been a tough day. But, Moke made some great points. We have to start building our foundation here. And we thought that we could just, body the Nets by being the big brother, by being, the talk of the town, by holding on to legacy. And what Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant basically said was, means nothing. It means nothing. It's a tough pill to swallow, but what can we do? So let's get back to the phones. Robert from Maryland's up. He wants to talk about the Knicks' deep-rooted problems with the players. Robert, how you feeling, bro?
Hey, CP. Hey, I just start off. I'm a disappointed Knicks fan, just like everybody else. But I'm going to light the fuse on the Nets right now. I mean, if you look at KD's history, he didn't get along in Oklahoma with two of the best players in the world, Russell Westbrook and James Harden. He had a hard time getting along, wasn't the best relationships. Then he goes to Golden State. Yeah, they won. A lot of talent, but the team had won previously, and he didn't get along there either. He had some disagreements with Draymond Green. And then you look at Kyrie and his history.
he was with LeBron James, and they didn't get along. And then he goes to Boston. It's a pretty good team with a good coach, and he doesn't get along there. And now you're going to bring these guys to the Nets, which is the little brother of the Knicks, and they're going to, with all the New York pressure and KD coming back from a torn Achilles, and these guys are going to get along, and it's going to work. So I think the real potential there for this Nets team, who's still feeling the effects from the Kevin Garnett.
You still there? All right, think we lost Robert, man. Bash from New York, he's devastated. Bash, how you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm just feeling it bad, man. Just terrible right now.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about, like, real talk, man. Like, we need to stop talking about the Nets or Sean Marks or development and all that. There's something very foul that's going on in the Knicks organization, man. Something foul that we're not privy to as fans, or the media is not telling us. But there's something foul. I mean, DeAndre Jordan played for the Knicks last year. Rod Strickland is Kyrie Irving's godfather. Kristaps Porzingis is an infant in the NBA by all means, yet he didn't want to take your money. Like, Kemba Walker didn't even want to come here. I mean, this is something foul going on here. We just got to address that, man. That's real talk, man. It has nothing to do with the Nets were winning, a winning organization, or they built their team right. There's something foul that's here in New York, man, in the Knicks organization, man. And maybe it's James Dolan, maybe it's Steve Mills, but there's a rumor that goes around that we're not privy to, that Charles Oakley knows, that Rod Strickland knows, that Kristaps Porzingis, being here 3 years, found out about. There's no reason for us to think that R.J. Barrett won't have the same sentiment as Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, anyone who's here long finds out they don't want to be here.
Well, wait, hold on one second. Hold on. Let me stop you right there.
money.
Let me stop you right there, because Ramona Shelbourne from ESPN is saying that the Knicks and Dolan were not prepared to offer KD a full max contract due to concerns over his recovery from the Achilles injury. Knicks are in LA tonight meeting with Julius Randle. Hey.
You're not going to get Julius Randle. You're not going to get D'Lo. Like,
but respond to that though. What do you think about that? Because that's big. That is big. Because Ramona Shelbourne and Woj, they're credible. The fact that they didn't want to give KD the max.
I think KD didn't want to be here. He saw how this organization is run, and he saw how other organizations are run just by conversation and talk. And that's what I'm talking about. That's it. There's conversations within executives and amongst players that we're not privy to that say something bad about New York Knicks constantly. There's nothing good that is said about this organization. DeAndre Jordan played here last year, and that's just crazy to think that now he's going to Brooklyn with KD. And I mean, the Knicks, these players want to play in New York.
Yeah.
And it's convenient that Brooklyn has a team in New York, so they don't have to play for the Knicks. Because the rumor around the NBA is something very foul going on in that organization. I'm not blaming Scott Perry, but Steve Mills has been there for decades. Okay. James Dolan, we already know the owner we have. This has nothing to do with Brooklyn.
But why is it that it can't just be that Brooklyn is a now team and we are a future team? You can't look at both rosters and say that we come anywhere close to that. And if you're looking at Kyrie, whose time is limited on those knees, you're looking at DeAndre Jordan, who's put in time, and you're looking at KD coming off that injury, they want to still win now. I don't see why that's so hard to grasp.
I can't grasp that, man. Just like the caller previous, there's something bad going on in the New York Knicks that has nothing to do with anyone else. I mean, R.J. Barrett's going to be here.
Yes.
And he sounds just like Kristaps Porzingis when he came here. I remember Kristaps Porzingis told a fan, take that Brooklyn Nets hat off. You should be wearing a Knicks hat. He was just as enthused to be a New York Knicks as R.J. Barrett looks today, and yet he wanted out. Okay, he wasn't taking your money. The Knicks have $70 million, and no one wants their money.
Okay.
There's something foul going on in this organization that needs to be wiped away, and we need to be serious and talk real talk about it. It has nothing to do with this Sean Marks or development or any of that, man. It really has to do with why players don't want to come play for the
because
New
we're
York
not
Knicks?
ready to win. We're not ready to win, Bash. We're not ready to win, man. Appreciate the call. Appreciate the call. I didn't want to clutch you, but I got other calls I got to get to. We're not ready to win. And I've said this before. The clocks never aligned to bring KD and Kyrie here. That's why I always thought even if they did come here, that they would still try to get that Anthony Davis trade going because it doesn't align with us and the young players. Now that reality has set in, the Nets are a now team. We have to come to that realization. And yes, there was something wrong with the Knicks. They were suffering from mismanagement for years. For over 25 years, they have mismanaged this team from a Ewing trade on down. Things have been setting us back years and years and years. And now Scott Perry, he's come in to try to clean this up. And we still have to build that foundation. I don't see why it's so hard to see that these guys want to, yes, come to New York, but they also want to win within their window. They have a smaller window than R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett just got here. Kevin Knox just got here. DSJ, Frank, they just got here. So we got to be patient. We got to be patient. You know, I understand, you know, the sentiment that why did they diss us to go to the net? DeAndre Jordan's gotten up there in years. So I'm sure if Kyrie and KD said, yo, let's go to the Knicks, DeAndre would have followed suit. Back to this Dolan thing, though. I don't know if is it the Garden spinning this? Or is it true that Dolan didn't want to give KD the money over the Achilles? He got burned already from Stat. So all the Dolan needs to sell the team, people. How do you feel now? If he was trying to protect us from eventual danger, I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. How do you guys feel about this? Do you feel like it's spin, or do you feel like it's the truth? And how do you feel about it? I'm gonna go back to the phones. I want to know something, man. I want to know how you guys feel about this. Eric from Orlando's been waiting. Eric, how you feel about this in terms of Dolan not wanting to give him the max? You believe it?
What's up, CP, man? Yeah, yo, I'm so happy that you reported that while I was on hold, because I've been saying that for about a week that I don't think we're gonna get KD because there's no way they're gonna give a 31, 32-year-old, 100 and whatever it is million after Amari.
Yeah.
Like, we have to learn from these mistakes. We already did this. Like, I'm honestly, what I really called in initially was, I'm not mad about any of this at all. You know, I heard Kenny Smith say something about 2 weeks ago that stuck with me. He was like, teams need to learn how to bake and not microwave.
Yes.
Right?
Agreed.
Just go get. I've been screaming D-Lo. You probably seen me in the mess on YouTube. I've been screaming for D-Lo for about 2 weeks. I want Julius Randle as well. Sign a bunch of other young players on some 1-2 year deals and run it back.
Yeah.
Let these boys grow. KD is 30-some years old. That contract, in my opinion, is going to be an albatross in about year 3 or 4. Because who do we have, as an example, that came back from that and was a beast?
True. We don't know.
We don't know. 2 decades ago? No one. That's the reality. Kyrie, meanwhile, we just saw him a month ago on a good team flame out. Do nothing. I'm not mad at this. Let Brooklyn have them, man. To me, this is just KG and Paul Pierce 2.0. Right? They're not. This is not. They're gonna praise them all summer long. The media is gonna make them sound like geniuses, and the Knicks are awful. That's all right, man.
Yeah.
Perry and them are smart. That's what I get from them ever since they stepped in there. They haven't done one stupid thing since they got there. Not one. You may not love every move they make. But they haven't done anything stupid. And that's what the Knicks' reputation has been forever. just doing things that are dumb. And this is not signing KD to that contract. And like you just said, the timelines never matched. I never understood that in the first place. He's 30. These guys we have a roster of 20 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
What? Get D'Lo, he's what, 23?
23.
Get Randle, who's I think 24. A guy that called in earlier, he said it perfectly. Let them. They're going to take all the shots. They're going to run it. It's going to make it easier for the kids on the team, like Knox, like Barrett, Mitchell Robinson. I actually think if they get D'Lo and Randle, they can actually sniff the 8th seed this year. I believe that. But even if they don't, that's progress. All these guys that we're going crazy over are in their 30s, and by the time these kids are in their prime mode, they'll be in a Knicks uniform for once. We've never had that.
Yeah.
Never. We've never had players enter their prime in our uniform. We're always trying to poach somebody else's star. Like, let's have OKC problems for once. When they had KD and Harden and Westbrook and couldn't figure out how to pay all of them. They drafted all them cats and Ibaka. Same thing with Golden State. Like, this is how you got to do it for once. The Knicks just need to be patient.
Okay.
Hopefully Dolan doesn't do anything, but that's really all I was saying. I'm not mad about this.
Appreciate
Knicks fans need to chill. This is smart. This is good news.
All right. Appreciate it, Eric. That was Eric from Orlando, wanted to be the voice of reason. What do you guys think of Eric's call? I agree with some points he made. I definitely agree with some points he made. Listen, I was tight because it was the Nets. If he would have went to Golden State, I would have been all right with it. I would have been like, that sucks. But, it's the fact that it was a PR L for me, with the Nets thing. But the Dolan thing is interesting because we get on Dolan for not, for all the past mistakes. But here he is, as we hear, whatever the truth is, we don't know. But here he is being more prudent, being more responsible with the wallet. Can you blame him? What do you guys think in the chat? Think about that. Let me know. What do you guys think about this? Once again, Knicks and owner Jim Dolan were not prepared to offer Kevin Durant a full max contract due to concerns over the Achilles injury. What do you guys think about that, man? Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Salute to everybody that's new in here. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. #1 show for Knicks fans, for the fan, by the fan. Let me salute some of the super chats that came in. We had a lot of super chats come in. Michael Parker, #1 fan of the show. He says, unfortunately, I think we really have to consider the Dolan effect. The writing is on the wall. Shout out to Yogi Gold for a super chat. This guy's username is Knicks. He says, Jim Dolan sell the team. Savage Reese said we still have to spend 90% of the cap space. Yeah, man, and a lot of guys are flying off the shelf, so I don't know. How does, Michael Parker says, how does this free agency shutout affect the Scott Perry regime? Will Dolan still allow him full autonomy? Yeah, he has to. He's just getting started. This is his second offseason. He's just getting started. So you got to give him time. This is going to take some time. Release the Beast says, let's stop with the doom and gloom. Let's get away from these quick fixes. Build a team with the young talent. Journey will be sweeter. I agree with that. Krillin876, he says, KD doesn't rely on athleticism. Injury, not big a deal. Will Farmer, we are good young guns develop. It's a little bit of both. We see some optimism. We see some pessimism. Let's see, man. Let's go back to the phones. David from Brooklyn's up. He wants to talk about the Knicks' future. David, how you feeling, bro?
How you doing, man? I've been listening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I've been listening to you for about a year now. Mm-hmm. Glad to be on, finally.
Thanks, bro.
Man, CP, man, I've been feeling a little devastated. I feel like KD was kind of trolling us. He had the orange cast. He's taking pictures in front of 72nd Street. I even saw a picture with I seen a picture with Kyrie with Fat Joe. He was wearing orange sneakers, so they were definitely trolling us. All I really got to say is, Knicks fans, Be patient. You know, I was really on this whole KD bandwagon thing, and you know, I feel like we just need to, you know, stick with our youth.
Yeah.
I like R.J. Barrett. You know, I like his alignment with Steve Nash. I like everything about that kid. He looks like he's a dog. And you know, I like our other guys. You know, It was funny too because I seen the post that you put up. It was KD and he was following ISO Zoe,
yeah.
like right before they made the yeah, you know, so.
Trolled ISO. He brought ISO into
this.
ISO didn't do anything.
ISO
didn't deserve that, man. He used him. He used ISO, man. He's just a kid.
Right, and it's, exactly. And ISO's supposed to be his man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you know, it's okay. You know, let KD and Kyrie and whatever other sucker comes. Let them have a good time in Jersey because we all know that's that's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Brooklyn, born and raised.
Okay.
I've been a Knicks fan since '94, and you know, everybody knows, especially from what your man was saying, Moke. He was saying about you know, the Knicks and the Nets and how the Nets would be the kind of the more superior team now. You know, everybody knows, man. We went from hearing even Stephen A., Molly. I even seen Ice Cube come on and say, "Well, why would you want to play for Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to make history with the Knicks?" You know what I'm saying? So, I hope we boo Kyrie and KD out the building. And I hope this makes our youth stronger. I hope this puts a little bit of pressure on RJ.
RJ got to put the team on his back, man.
Yeah.
And appreciate the call, Brooklyn. This is RJ's team. RJ wants it, man. He wants to be the guy. We got to be patient with him. Be patient with RJ, man. Don't do him like we do Frank now. We got to be patient with this kid. But RJ wants to be the guy. So let's see. He's talking about First Take Molly. I don't watch that stuff, man. I'm not going to watch that stuff tomorrow. I'm not going to watch it the next day. I'm here, Knicks Fan TV. Like I said, this is the home of the diehard Knicks fan. No disrespect to those other guys, but this is the home of the diehard Knicks fan. It's about us. We're going to give you objective analysis. We're going to bring on guys from the beat. You heard Ian Begley. For those of you that didn't see it, Ian Begley was on. You heard the interview with Mark Berman. We had Moke Hamilton on here. So we're bringing guys from the beat. Bringing them here to give you some jewels, and we're just gonna stick together, man. We're gonna stick it through. Gotta stick it through. Some news around the league. Nerlens Noel goes to the Thunder. Good for him. Thunder's going nowhere fast. They need to make moves. I don't think Brody's the guy. We see Tobias Harris back with Philly. See what's going on. Bazemore, we knew that Bazemore got traded to the Blazers for the guy's name is slipping me now, a guy from Ohio State, but Bazemore got traded to the Blazers. Rodney Hood back to the Blazers. Evan Turner. Bazemore got traded for Evan Turner. Indiana, Jeremy Lamb, he burnt that Charlotte bridge later, MJ. Brogdon, this was a big one. This was a guy we had liked. Brogdon, 4 years, $85 million. Brogdon moving on to the Pacers from the Milwaukee Bucks. What else, man? Bojan Bogdanovic, big deal. Utah upgrading. They're trying to take the West. $73 million. So now you got a lineup of, I guess you got Conley. You got the Spider at the 2. Who's going to be their 3? Their 3, I guess, is going to be Bogdanovic. I don't know if Favors went back or not, so I'm not sure who their 4 is. And they got the Ice Stifle Tower at the 5. Utah got a squad. Utah definitely has a squad. I like to see the West wide open, man. Enough of this Golden State dynasty. I want to see a new team take it. Dame Dollar's read up. It wasn't even his time. Dame Dollar's got the super max. Good for him. He's my favorite player in the league right now. Al Farouk Amino, 3-year deal with the Magic. Worth $10 million a year. Somebody saying we got Julius Randle. Is that confirmed? Let's see. 3-year deal. Julius Randle. 3-year deal. Breaking Woj bomb. Julius Randle is a member of the New York Knicks. 3 years, $63 million. So Randle gets 21 a year. I figured that'd be about his price. We needed a power forward. I'm happy with it. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm happy with it, man. We needed a power forward. And, Randle fit the bill. He had a great year last year. Very versatile in the offensive end. I think he'll fit well with Mitch. He's capable of spacing the floor. He's not a terrific three-point shooter, but he's a capable three-point shooter. So I think him and Mitch should be all right down there. And let's hope it works. 3-year deal for Julius Randle. What do you guys think about that in the chat, man? What do you guys think about that? Some say I love it. Some say happy. Some say good contract. Some are running from the chat. Is there a team option? We'll see. Let's check in on what Begley and Berman have to say. But Julius Randle is the Knicks pickup of the day. Let's see what else happens. I guess Bobby Portis is out the door. Let's see what happens. I mean, I guess D'Lo would be, the next potential piece. But Julius Randle averaged 21 points, 8 rebounds, 52% shooting last year. 34% from 3. Not the greatest, but he's capable. He's not a stretch 4 by any means. He's a power forward. And we needed somebody. We needed some depth at the 4. And Julius Randle's that guy. Well, what do you guys think about it? Let's go to some chats. I'm going to go back to the phones in a second, but let's see what some people in the chat are saying. NY Knicks is pretty dope. Rome from Fall Rock says short-term deal from Randle is a win. Matthew Williams, great move for our team. We got to start in 5 now. Okay. Sua says Zion Jr. Akash says Randle versus Canner. Yeah, he took Canner's spot. So that should be a nice little matchup. Christian says he thinks he's going to be all-star next year. Not so sure about that, but I think he'll be a good pickup. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's see what you guys think about this. Vinny from Houston is up. Vinny, first, what's your take on Randle, and then give me your other takes on KD in the future.
Hey, what's up, CP? Yeah, a little surprised by it. I'm happy that he did less than the 4 years.
Yeah.
He's still a young player. He could grow with this club, so that's the positive way.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the James Dolan thing, I'm taking it as a different direction. 2 different points with that. Dolan was trying to protect the franchise. Obviously, we've had problems with injuries, with free agents. And second off, it doesn't mean that Kevin Durant was refusing to play with the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Because they still could have signed him. I just think that because we weren't willing to give him the max, he wants to stay in New York. He said, you know what? You're not going to give me the max? I'll go to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So as far as that aspect, the reason I was calling, though, was the Knicks need to build the foundation, like you were saying before.
Mm-hmm.
Once you build the foundation of a winning culture, you do it through the draft.
It changes. Yeah, it changes
you do
things,
it through
man.
Getting more draft picks.
It changes things. We
Exactly.
have to, and not to cut you off, Vinny, but you know what? It's time to bury the whole legacy thing. You see behind me, I got the dunk up there. I got Patrick Ewing schooling a young Shaquille O'Neal. Those were my guys. That was my era. These guys don't care about that no more, man. It's gone. It's over. It's over. We have to start anew. We appreciate those times. We can't go back to the 90s well no more and think that people are just going to come here because of that nostalgia and what it would mean if they won here. Moke hit that right on the head, man. Because I was guilty of it, too. In propping us up as that team. Go ahead, Vinny. Go ahead.
And we still have the cap. We still have the cap flexibility.
Yeah.
And we should consider certain moves, like maybe speaking to the Clippers. They have Danilo Gallinari. He has $20 million 1 year left.
Yep.
See if he's willing to come with a draft pick or two.
Yeah.
So we can continue adding assets, because through the draft is how we're going to become a better team, not through free agents.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that. I didn't expect KD to come here. I didn't want Kyrie here. Is Kawhi signed yet or no?
Kawhi hasn't signed yet. Who knows? But with Kawhi, I would fully expect him to go back to the Raptors, although the Lakers would certainly, to me, would be attractive if he really wants to go home and play for his team. But forget us. That ship is sailed.
Anything to make the West stronger
Yeah.
and Dallas weaker to make our picks better.
True.
That's the way I look at
Anything
it.
that slides Dallas out of that 8th spot and below, we're good with that. So yeah, I would certainly welcome a Kawhi return to the West, but the Lakers should be, in good shape in terms of making the playoffs without him. But thanks for the call, Vinny. Definitely
I
appreciate it, man.
it. You have a good day.
Okay. All right. Cool, man. Cool. Shout out to everybody in the chat. The phone lines are open. Should be. If you guys are trying to call in and can't call in, let me know if I need to reopen the phone lines. But I'm pretty sure you should still be able to call in. Dave, let me know if I need to reopen the phone lines, because I know from the switchboard standpoint the timer went out, but I can still take whatever calls are left over. Next caller up, Jay from North Carolina was waiting for a minute. He says he's shocked by the news. Jay, how you feeling, bro?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Hey, you called out Jay from Florida, so I stumbled with that because so many Jays be calling. But
okay,
that was on me. So
okay,
I called back and helped. Hey, yo, this is what it is, man.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody got their eyes on building the young crop, today should be a good day.
Yeah.
See, our free agency starts this week in Summer League. All them guys, the Kevin Knox, the Mitchell, the Trier, the RJ, them dudes supposed to be feeling some kind of way. Oh, y'all didn't want to play with me? Oh, y'all think we can't hold it down if you get hurt or something like that? See, that was the main thing why Kyrie and them, was over there in Brooklyn, because they feel like if an injury or something occurred, them guys can hold it down. And they deserve that. Them guys showed who they was this year.
Yeah.
They played hard, so them guys deserve that. We can't be hating like a dude on the wall in the club that ain't dancing, mad at them because they did their thing.
Right.
We got to be patient, man.
Yeah.
Y'all depressing me out, man, and I'm a strong Knicks fan. I'm talking about back 11:30 p.m. at night on WRTV with Ray Williams and Michael Ray Richardson going against Dennis Johnson.
You going
Josh
back.
Rand. Y'all don't know nothing about that. You feel me?
Yeah.
But be patient and let's build. Let's build. I almost was thinking like Perry was dropping the ball because Kyrie and KD been announced that they was going to play. That was before 6 o'clock. So you supposed to be tearing that phone up, calling all types of people. It's a lot of movement that don't happen with dudes that could have helped our team, man.
Yeah.
For real. We're on talking about 1 year deals and stuff like that. A lot of movement went on. But we still got to stay with the focus. The focus is the young guys, man. We can't give up on them. We can't be mad. KD went there. Kyrie went there, man. That's there. We can't get mad at Dolan about – we know how crazy he is. But one thing I can say, Dolan will put that money in his people pocket if he feel like they right.
Yeah.
Something must have been wrong with Dolan, and Dolan put that out early in the week that had Stephen A. Smith going crazy. Nah, let me see that paperwork. When you go to the feds, you want to see that paperwork. The paperwork says a lot. We never saw nothing. So Dolan pulled the plug and did what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just relax. We got a good thing going. We got the 2000 version of Rodney Rogers. That's who my man Randle remind me of. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We got a 2000 version. We got a good pick at the number 4. He ain't bothering nobody. The slot was wide open. And just stay Knicks fan, man. Don't be hating because Brooklyn did this. Them young guys behind the scene, they did their thing last year, man. And I'm thinking we should go get D'Lo, because he still feels some kind of way of being disrespected, for real. Because he carried that crop a little bit too. You know what I'm saying?
He's one of the reasons they made it to the playoffs. You know.
That's right. So he should be like on us. Yo, let me call Scott myself. Yo, Scott, y'all feeling some kind of way? Y'all trying to rock with me, man? Because I build that over there. They follow me, man. Y'all trying to rock with me? You know what I'm saying? I need to know what Scott Perry doing on that phone, man, because we need a spokesman, like what Mo said earlier. We need a spokesman, man.
Yeah.
That's why Mark Jackson would have been really, really so important to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Doing this signing. Not saying Fizz ain't doing a good job. He's good with developing players, man. But sometimes you need a spokesperson, man, to get across to somebody, man. You know what I'm saying? Where other people can't get across to them. But today is a good day, and stop feeling miserable, man. Nick 5'6", stand up, man.
Appreciate
I'm gonna call you back later on. Let me see what's going on with the rest of free agent, man. I love y'all Knicks fans, man. And I'm down in North Carolina, man.
There we go. That boy Jay, man. That was a call of the day, man. That was a call of the day. Salute to Jay. And Jay's been through it. Jay's seen some good days, some bad days as well, man. So he said, hey, listen, we'll be all right. That was a great call. Man. Let me reopen the lines. I didn't realize that people couldn't call back in. Let me reopen the lines. We're going to go for a little while longer. Salute to everybody in the chat so far. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Salute to Expect a Fight. It's my cousin, man. Threw me a super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Marcel from Brooklyn. What I need you to do is hang up. Call back in. I need to relaunch the show. So I'm going to hang this up. I'm going to relaunch the show.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And then everybody else should be able to call in. So let me do that now. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. This is the home for the diehard Knicks fan. You just heard from Jay from North Carolina. Hey, man, Jay has me renewed. He has me renewed, man. I'm feeling good about it. I mean, listen, I like I said, if he would have went to Golden State, I would have been fine with it. It was just the immediate shock of the Nets, stealing it from us, stealing the all season from us. That's all. But if you really think about it, we just weren't. We weren't in that position. You got to keep it real, man. Well, like Jay said, you got to keep it real. They were ready to take it. And they were competing. They built their foundation. They rebounded from terrible moves. And this is what got them. This is what it got them. This is what they got them. All right, let's see if
your show will go live in 5 seconds.
Okay,
4,
5 seconds. We'll
3,
get back to it.
2,
Dave, just
1.
call back in, Dave, and screen the calls.
Blog Talk Radio.
And then we'll get to it. So what do you guys in the chat think about this Randle news? Listen, I think we needed a 4, like I said. I'm fine with it. I figured this was going to be the more realistic move had we struck out. And here it is. Somebody said last time I checked, basketball's a team sport. It's good. Pierce Crosley, 1 a.m. in the UK. Yeah, throw your cities in the chat as well, man. I might have missed that portion of it earlier. The chats are going so quick. It's hard to keep up, but definitely salute to all the fans, man. We got only on. I haven't even checked the Facebook viewers. I haven't checked the Twitter viewers. We got 1,150 people watching worldwide. Come on, man. I don't know if you're Knicks fans or basketball fans or what, but I appreciate the support still. Tariq from the Bronx. Salute, Tariq. Ayo, Pal's in here. Ayo, Pal, I haven't heard from you in a while, man. How you doing, man? All right, as soon as Dave gets in here and screens some of these callers, the first call up, we'll get to it. All right, let's go to Dre from West Palm. He wants to talk about the Dolan situation of KD not getting max. Dre, how you feeling, bro?
I'm not feeling good, CP. Listen, first of all, let me say this to you. I salute your show.
Thanks, bro.
First off, I'm an old head. I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
But I respect what you do.
Appreciate
I'm subscribed to the channel. Y'all subscribe to this man's channel. Hit the like button. Share this, please.
Yes, sir.
For real, let me salute you first on what you do, bro. Because to be honest with you, I don't go to them other cats to get Knicks news. I go to you. And I'm just being real talk to you, brother. So salute to what you do for us. Because all of us hurting right now, and we coming to you right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to Berman. We ain't going to Frank and them other cats, man. We coming to you. So I'm going to salute you first on that.
Thanks a lot, man.
I don't know how to feel. You know what? Like you said earlier, it would not hurt that much, CP, if he went to Golden State, if he went to the Clippers. Because he went to the Nets, that's where it hurts the most, and it stings that now they're going to parade around the city. And here's the thing. Scott Perry was there when Kevin Durant got drafted by Seattle. Was he not in the front office?
Yeah, he was there. He was on that team. He was with that group.
CP, he can't even get a conversation, fam. Not even sit down,
I
bro.
think they still did.
Even get that?
I'm pretty sure they did. I don't know what, I'm sure eventually we'll hear what happened, but I'm sure, they said Steph Curry and Bob Myers, the GM of the Warriors, came out here to check him. I think he had his mind made up already, though. I think he had his mind made up.
Right.
I'm sure they, the Knicks called, checked in, how you feeling, and he was like, listen, this is what I'm doing.
If we can get D'Lo with Julius Randle, I'm cool with that. I just don't understand why they want to play with our squad. You want to tell me KD, Kyrie, with Money Mitch, Knox, Dotson, and Diamond's boys?
Hey,
UCP, man.
I wish, man. Keep your head up, Dre, man. Keep your head up, man. Appreciate the call. I mean, listen, I think we have to be realistic, right? I'm not singing the Nets' praise. This is not Nets fan TV, but if you look at LeVert, if you look at Dinwiddie, you look at Joe Harris, they got their three-point flamethrower. They have their defense with Jared Allen. I don't know who else they got on that team, whatever. But the point is, they made the playoffs. They were a ready team. They were a ready-made team, ready to compete. We're not ready just yet to compete. That would have been taxing on these guys, on Kyrie especially. You want Kyrie to come here with no KD in this first year and carry the young boys, his knees would have blown out in the preseason. That's just real. I wanted to see it happen, but I always knew that the clocks didn't align, and that's why I never really understood the hype of them coming here, because I just never saw it fitting with the timelines. The timelines just didn't fit. The timelines just didn't fit, man. You know, but I still play fantasy, and still, of course, I want it to happen, want to see it happen, but reality is a different thing. Reality kicked us in the teeth today. Let's just be real. All right, George from New York. He wants to talk about the future. George, how you feeling, bro?
Hey, CP, how you doing, man? Long time watcher.
Thanks, bro.
Hope you're doing well. Man, this is crazy, man.
Yeah.
How is it so that a team that hasn't even been in New York for more than 10 years has a better chance to compete for a chip than we do? That's just disappointing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, you know, we want to build through the draft, you know, get some pieces, but when you have a chance to win, you win, no matter what. I mean, that's what the Yankees do, and that's why they're not the Mets.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it, man. Anybody out there saying that, oh, you know, you got to be, you know, patient. Yeah, it's okay, but, I mean, when you get a chance to get a player like that or two players like that,
you got to go for it,
man. I don't want to hear none of that.
You got to go for it.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, 3 years, $63 million, that's cool and all, but, I mean, we still have to develop players, you know?
Yeah.
And not just that. All right, cool. Let's say they develop. After 3-4 years, what star players are going to be available to, you know, bring into the team as free agents just like we could have done this year? Who?
Well,
there's not going to be nobody around. This was it.
Right, but you're right. You're right on that, and appreciate the call, George. But the thing is, that's what Moke was saying, and that's what we were saying. The foundation has to start from the draft. Whether or not these guys turn into the guys that take you to the promised land or can get you the next pieces that can take you to the next level. We still there. We're not there yet. You know, we're still trying to get there. We just drafted RJ. Knox is 19. Mitch is 19. Whatever you want to say with Frank, he's on the team. He's going to be on the team. He's 20 going into the season. ISO still, you know, he's fairly young. I think he might be like 21 or so. But the point is, we're still developing our guys. We still developing our foundation. Then you could talk about how you're going to fortify that team with free agents. But you can't start with, yes, it would have been a great look, and yes, we wanted it, but maybe that's just not the most realistic approach. I can tell you, and this is no joke, I spoke with somebody yesterday who's tight with Anthony Davis in his circle, and he said AD wanted it. He wanted to come here. We just couldn't get the trade package to get him there, so he went to LA. You never know what could happen there, and I'm not ready to talk about next year at all, because we've been talking about this offseason for a year now. I'm tired of it. I want to just talk about the team going forward, starting with Summer League. I'll be out there in Vegas. If anybody's out there in Vegas, stay tuned. We're going to have an announcement in terms of a fan meetup out there in Vegas. So, yeah, we still going out there. But, yeah, AD wanted to be a Knick, man. AD wanted to be a Knick, so you never know. But we got to focus on now. Can't worry about tomorrow, next season, next offseason. Focus on now, the guys we have now. We got Julius Randle here, 3-year deal versus worth $63 million, I believe. So it's about $21 million. You know, not crazy. You figured that would be. I'm not sure where the team or player option comes into play. Maybe it's a 2-1. We'll see how that unfolds. But Julius Randle is the next member of the New York Knicks. Next member of the New York Knicks. All right, appreciate it, George. Let's go to CP the artist, my man. What's going on? You want to talk about the future? How you feeling, bro?
Hey, man, I'm sick of these negative Nancy's. I had to stay on the phone for an hour.
Yeah, it was tough, man. We had a
Well,
lot
look,
of calls, man. A lot of calls.
It's all good, man. You're doing your thing, man.
Thanks.
You're doing your thing. I got to tell you, you have the most professional show.
Thank you.
And I wanted to tell you that from the bottom of my heart, man. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Real quick. I think it's a good thing because the Nets, they spent $300 million on one bad Achilles, low self-esteem, and two bad knees. I mean, I don't know why people are like going crazy. I think the thing is too that Bleacher Report is clowning us. I know Max and
yeah.
Stephen
I don't
A.
watch them though, so that don't affect
we-
me. I don't watch Stephen A. I don't watch Max. I don't watch none of that.
Good. I'm glad you don't. I'm glad you don't. But the people who are upset, they're watching this and they're feeding into it. The New York Post is writing articles and it's whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a relationship, man. You might be you want that pretty girl, but you don't know what the headache is going to come with it.
It's true.
So my point is this. KD, I don't think he wanted a taste of the pressure of playing in the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Go to Brooklyn where it's safe. Where you got the little brownstones and it's gentrified and everything like that, and people walking in with the lattes and little kids. It's okay. Go ahead, go over there. It's fine. And I think Kyrie wasn't built for it either. They were never going to be built for the pressure.
Right.
So now, this is what I predict real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Kyrie, he's going to try to carry this Brooklyn team on those bad knees one more year. Then he's going to break down the second year. Second year, KD comes back on that Achilles. He's going to be rusty. We are not going to ever see the same KD that we saw before.
Mm-hmm.
Statistics show that 85% of people who come back from the Achilles are never the same.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what, Brooklyn, I hope you enjoy that $300 million damaged goods that we got. We got a future, and I'm happy that we're getting younger, and I believe that the team is going to be hungrier, and I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to let you go on that, my brother, man. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate the call, CP. Definitely appreciate it. So they're saying the Randle deal is a 2+1. It's a good move. 2+1 is a good move. Team option in the final year. That's a good deal. I like it. I'll grade that. I like that deal right there. It's a 2+1. As Tommy Beard says, and Tommy Beard was a guest on our show. Hopefully we'll get him back at some point. Gives the team far more flexibility moving forward. Can make the contract far more tradable. So if he's not working out, you want to get rid of him, that's great. Alex Collins, salute to you. Alex, how you feeling, man? I don't know if you can call, but call in if you can, man. All right, who's up next? We'll go for another 10, 15 minutes. Jamal from Queens is there. He says he's not that upset. Jamal, how you feeling, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm just saying, everybody is got all this doom and gloom about not signing KD and whatever. We got a good young base that we're working with right now.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if you look back, there's not been a team that has won that has not had a player that's drafted that's had a good portion of win share, even if you go back all the way back to Magic. So if you look at it that way, we need to build our base, and then we can add on parts to actually get to that championship level. We can't just think that we're going to trade players and sign free agents, and that's going to get us to that level. You got to have something to start with.
Yeah.
And what we got right now is a talented young group that we really have to focus on. And I think that's the way that we're going to build going to the future.
Yeah, I agree, Jamal. Good points, man. We have to. We're still crawling. You got to crawl before you can walk. That's what they say. And like I said, today was a tough reminder of that because I don't think it was much more than that. I think these two guys, Kemba same way, they wanted to go to ready-made situations. We're not ready-made yet. We're still trying to make ourselves. So Good call. Good call. Sam from Brooklyn up next. He wants to talk about the Julius Randle pickup. Sam, how you feeling, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man? Good letting you have me on, man. I'll be listening to you all the time, man.
Thanks, bro.
For real. But, yeah, that Julius Randle, like, a lot of people looking at it like, oh, y'all got Randle and didn't get Durant or Kyrie. Listen, man, even if we did get Durant, next year was damaged goods because next year we couldn't use them. So that's a whole year sitting out. We probably would have had to try to tank or see what we could do. And then you think about it, the second year he come back, he going to have to win because you don't win that second year. Now you just throw half his contract for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and Julius Randle, man, he's a bully, bro. That boy's a bully. He get to the paint whenever he wants. You know what I'm saying? You know they're going to work on that shot a little. And then like dude before me was calling and said, bro, we got a nice young squad. We got ISO Zoe, get to the paint whenever he wants damn near. Knox scoring 20 on 30% shooting from the field. Like, when he actually gets his field goal percentage up and becomes more consistent, I think he was overwhelmed. You know, his first year in the league. And I think he settled a lot of shots. When that boy gets his field goal percentage up, you got Dennis Smith Jr., you know, a little undersized, but he kind of gets to the paint whenever he wants. You know, my boy Mitch, first year, double-double. Like, come on, bro. It's going to be – give him more like another year or two. But like I said, with that Durant, I ain't going to lie, I kind of did want Durant. Who don't want Durant?
Right,
so I don't want to hear nobody say I don't want him.
Exactly.
But then, like I said, you throwing away a year, and if that second year don't work out, you just threw away, you know what I mean, with $100 million, $80 million on 2 years gambling, you know? And then he's getting a little older. So, you know?
True.
That's how that shit goes.
True indeed, man. Appreciate the call, Sam. Appreciate it, man. I mean, listen, we are building something still. You know, I like ISO. I love Mitch. Mitch is my guy. The Mitch Please t-shirts are in store. Hit that link below. I do love Mitch for sure. Knox, we'll see. Will have to be determined. I think RJ wants to be the guy. RJ wants to be the man on this team, and I think he's going to get it there. There you see the Mitch Please t-shirts. I sent one to Mitch. He's loving it. Mitch was wearing it out there in New Orleans over the off season. So shout out to Mitch. Shout out to his agent too, Maya. That's my guy. Share these videos on Twitter as well, man. We have an exclusive Twitter DM group chat going and the Discord group chat. If you want to join those, share this video on Twitter with the hashtag PostGameNYK, and we'll throw you in those groups. The show is also available in audio format. For those of you going to work tomorrow, you can't watch YouTube burning your battery or your data plan. Listen to it in audio format. It's on the Knicks Fan TV, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher. All those platforms is available in audio format. So there's no reason to not be able to catch the show. Michael from Queens, you're up, man. How you feel about this Randle signing?
Yo, I'm loving this Randle signing, but before I even get to that, yo, CP, I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm a great respecter of your work. I've been following the channel probably since mid-season. And when you said you only follow Shams, Begley, Berman, and Moke, those are the only ones I follow. So I said, you know what, that's a brother right there. I got to subscribe. So I want to thank you for what you do, boss. I really do.
Thanks a lot, bro. Appreciate it.
Three things, and I will be calling again, by the way.
Okay.
3 things really, really fast. Number one, I feel that KD, and not so much for KD, but for Kyrie going to Brooklyn is a sucker move.
Yeah.
There's no pressure.
Well, that's what I felt like he wanted.
There's none at all.
He wanted to fly under the radar and still play basketball.
But why that's significant to me is that you've done built a winning culture with young kids who don't know pressure yet, whereas Mitch, Zoe, and Trier, and all the rest of them are coming up as infants in a high scrutinized pressure system. Yeah. It's going to pay off later. And RJ wants to be here. His father was here. His mom's from here. He knows that already.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, Julius Randle is, in my eyes, a younger version of Zach Randolph, who, if you remember, though Zach couldn't get up he couldn't jump over an envelope, was a beast in the paint. Mm-hmm. Take anybody in the paint, score at will in the paint, and rebound at will in the paint. And that's something that we don't necessarily have, especially if Mitch is going to be your defensive stopper. You need a young dude you need somebody next to him that can offset his inefficiency.
Right.
And he's young. He's 23. So who's to say that 5 years down the line, we're not Eastern Conference championship contenders with a starting five that consists of RJ, Knox, and Mitch in the middle, and Randle on the side. So that's number two. And, lastly, I didn't want either one of them here. I understand New York seems dysfunctional, but in a lot of ways, what Ninja P has been able to do since he's been here, if you go by what you read, Dolan has kept his hands off with the exception of firing Phil. So what are we talking about? He's been hands off.
And we needed him. We needed him to do that.
4 years?
We needed him to do that because
And
Phil
he
was
did-
going
he
senile
did.
on us. Phil was losing it.
So he did what we needed him to do. So it seems like it's a Ninja P show. So if that's the case, in some ways, as warped as this may sound, CP, it ain't broke. So don't fix it. Let him continue building what it is that he's building. And winning is the greatest deodorant. So if we double the wins, win 38 games next year, fighting for an 8th seed in February and March, won't nobody be talking about the Knicks stink.
Yeah.
That's my point, brother.
Okay.
And I appreciate you.
Appreciate that, Michael. Appreciate it. Appreciate the optimism. I will say, though, and I said this last night, building young and building through the draft isn't a guarantee of anything, right? You still have to get lucky. You have to get lucky in the draft. You got to get lucky in free agency. Basketball is luck. A lot of luck has to do with it. As much as your scouting and your coaching and your chemistry, there's a lot of things that go into building the championship team. The NBA is a very top-heavy league. And you have to get things right. Things have to go right. Look at the San Antonio Spurs. Their dynasty was built on getting lucky enough to get Tim Duncan with the number 1 pick, and they weren't even the worst team that year. Boston was the worst team that tanked heavy, and they still couldn't get Tim Duncan. It was the Spurs who lucked out with Tim Duncan. And I believe that was the year David Robinson was out with a broken foot, and the Spurs were able to get Tim Duncan, and that was a 20-year dynasty they built off of that. So I understand, the optimism with the young guys. We got to take it, brick by brick, piece by piece, because you just don't know. There's no guarantees that it's going to lead us anywhere. We still got to, get the right pieces around them and make sure that these kids are developing and we're getting the most out of them. So let's just, we got to temper those expectations because there's a lot of teams that's still young. Look at Phoenix. They can't get out of their own way. Minnesota Timberwolves, they got Towns. They got Wiggins. They had all that. They still can't move. Still can't go anywhere. Denver's just now getting there. But Denver was, for a long time, they were terrible. The Warriors, they look at the Warriors now like, gangbusters. Warriors hadn't won since the 70s. Won anything. Barely made the playoffs in them years. After they won that chip. Even with Run TMC and all of that. So it's a long road, man. We're on a long road. But, we stay positive. We stay loyal as Knicks fans. And that's what it's all about. Speaking of positivity, Dominic from Florida, he wants us to stay positive. Dominic, how you feeling, bro? Hello. All right, I think Dominic was sleeping. Next up, Nelson from Queens wants to talk about the value of the young roster. Nelson, what's going on, bro?
Hey, how you doing, man? Love your show. Love what you do.
Thank you, bro.
So, yeah, just wanted to get into it. First and foremost, just to quickly address the Julius Randle thing.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to clown Knicks fans and all that stuff with Julius Randle. First of all, he's a good player. The two things I love about the signing is his age fits in with our young guys. He's old enough to teach them about the league, but young enough to grow with them. And the contract is short and reasonable.
Yeah, I like
They're
that.
talk
Very
about
reasonable
Julius Randle
deal.
like we gave him max dollars.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal.
people
It's a
saying
reasonable
same
deal.
old Knicks.
It's a reasonable
Right.
and
That's not the
flexible
same old
deal.
Knicks.
I like that.
100%. That
Yeah.
that was actually a genius move because the thing about it is, in next year's draft, there are some brilliant point guards. So honestly, it's not like we want to tank. The way it is now with the new draft odds, all you have to do is miss the playoffs by a little bit, and you have a chance to, do really well.
You have a chance.
So the Knicks missing the 8th seed, trying to grow, but missing the playoffs could be the best thing in the world that happens for us because it's a dynamite draft class next year. We could really get a star.
I agree.
So speaking of the young players, here's the thing that we've watched the Lakers and some of these other teams do. They draft good players, sign a superstar, get on this brand new timeline, and then send those good players out before their value is established. And we have if we did terrible in the draft, I would be with it. Get rid of all of these guys, get Anthony Davis. But I think that Robinson, Trier, and Barrett, they look like they're really, really good players. And like you said, Knox, the jury's out. He picked up ball late, excellent physical body. He's super young. We got to see what he turns into. It would be a nightmare for me as a Knicks fan for any of those guys to pop as an all-star on another team, while the guy that we paid $100 million for is limping around because he's 30 and he's had knee surgery or ACL or, Achilles surgery or something like that.
Right.
And they avoided that.
True. Okay. Appreciate the call, man. Good points.
So that's the main thing for me.
Appreciate
Gotta
it,
wait
Nelson.
for that young value.
Appreciate it, man. Didn't mean to cut you off, but I just got to run through the calls before I get out of here. Listen, some guys are tight that they gave Randle the money, and it's a 2-year deal, technically. It's a 2-year tryout. You have to sign somebody, man. Just because, we struck out, you can't just fill the team. You still have to spend 90% of the cap. So with that, I'm not just going to bring in a couple Wayne Ellingtons. Yes, I'll bring in Ellington. We need 3-point shooters. But you need to bring in still somebody, whether it's Randle or D'Lo, somebody with potential. Maybe they haven't already reached their ceiling. Somebody that can still help this team get, reach another notch up. That's not a bad deal. We needed a 4. We needed to spend some money, and we got him on a flexible deal. What more do you want? What more do you want? You want to bring Malik Rose out of retirement? We needed a 4, man. Let's be real. So you go with a young guy. Still young, 26 years old, 21-8 last year he averaged. 52% from the field. What more do you want? You got to continue to build a team. You got to continue to build a team. Obviously, we're not talking about making a playoff run. But you build to take the next step. And it's a 2-year deal. I can't complain. About it. I can't be mad at it. Let's go to Curtis from North Carolina. He wants to talk about did I speak to you already, or you knew? Go ahead, Curtis.
Yo. Hey, what's up, CP, man?
How you doing, bro?
Yeah, shout out to you, man, first off, man, because you're killing it, bro, and I agree with you 100%.
Thanks.
As a Knicks fans, we don't need to watch them other shows, none of that garbage. We stick right here at home, baby.
Yeah, I'm not with the doom and gloom, the doomsday shows. I really don't care, man, because I already know those shows. Man. I don't like to put those things down because obviously those guys work hard, but it's a whole nother agenda, man. I'm just not with it. I don't really care what they have to say, to be honest.
Right. You gonna get objective Knicks information right here on Knicks Fans TV. So. But I want to talk on that Randle signing, man. I love it. I think it makes perfect sense. He's 24 years old, which fits into the youth movement, and he's still not at his peak. We don't know what his ceiling completely is. I feel like he could still be better. Maybe like as far as the effect that I feel like he could have on the floor, maybe like a Draymond, but with a better offensive game.
Right.
I think.
Well, if he can be as smart as Draymond, that's one thing. Draymond, he's a hothead, but he's a very high IQ basketball player, man. He's a great player.
High IQ, man. Right. Yeah. And I think Randle got some potential because he definitely played I don't know exactly where his IQ at because obviously I'm a Knicks fan. I don't follow too much Pelicans basketball, but
from what I've seen from him, you know, he played a bully ball. I think his style of play fits New York, that grit that we like in New York, the way he likes to bang and get dirty in the post. So I think that fits perfect. I like what we got as a core, man, with the youth, man. Knox, I think, is going to surprise people. I've been watching, like, some of his workout videos this offseason, and he's looking real impressive. His handle is looking like it's improved tremendously.
Yeah, he's working hard.
Which is one of the things I said he needed to improve most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
okay.
I think we good, man. I think we're in a good position. I never wanted KD. I know a lot of people find that hard to believe, but I feel like we do that too much, man. We break up what we building at home, chasing the big names.
Always
chasing
skirts,
man. We got to start from scratch all over again.
It's true. It's true, man. Appreciate the call, bro.
Right. So I think, yeah, man. I think we doing the right thing. We heading in the right direction. Knicks fans, don't panic. We good.
Okay. Appreciate the call, man. Well said, bro. Well said, man. All right, couple more calls before I go. Let's go to Above the Rim. There's my mod in the chat. Above the Rim wants to chime in on KD and Randle. How you feeling, bro?
BP, what's good, bro? What's good?
What's good, man? How you feeling, man?
Pretty good, man. So check this out, CP. So my brother-in-law, he's a huge Nets fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted my brother-in-law. I said, congrats. That's all I said.
Mm-hmm.
He texted me back, no, very bad move. Durant is done. So as much as a diehard Knicks fan I am, he's the opposite on the Nets. And he doesn't like the move. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Well, it's TBD on how well he recovers, right? We don't know. We don't have enough of a sample size of superstars in their prime that came back from this. All we have at superstar level is Dominique. Kobe doesn't count. Kobe was already well on his way out when he tore that Achilles.
Exactly.
So we really only have one player that we really looking at to gauge whether or not he can come back at full strength.
Right, exactly. I like the Randle move. It's only 2 years. I think real Knicks fans, just stop crying. It's only 2 years. And he also had a major injury his first year. So, you know, thank God they didn't give him 4 years.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean?
I think it's a flexible move. You take a chance on a young player who still has potential. Why not?
Right. The only thing, there is a difference between real Knicks fans and, just people who want to just rant. You know what I mean? Like, thank God you don't watch the Stephen A. show. I used to follow him, but sometimes I don't want to hear all the loud.
Yeah, I'm not for the entertainment value, man.
The Knicks under the bus.
Yeah, I'm not here for the entertainment value, man. I just want to talk, keep it 100, and that's it. I'm not here for the shock value, bro.
And the thing is, we're asking Perry to do 25 years of work in 1 year.
Right.
It's not going to happen. We got to build the foundation.
Yep.
And move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And Dolan, believe it or not, I think that was the smartest thing to ask for the papers, because he already seen that did that. And look what it got us. Moving us back 10 years. Just because he signed Amari. So, I think Knicks fans need to just be humble, change the narrative. It is what it is. And to the caller who was saying, he was talking about, there has to be a rumor, something's going on with the Knicks organization.
I don't think it was that deep.
Something is going, because we're not making the same mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to be all right. I don't know what J.Ellis is.
Yeah, I don't know. He had to take care of some family stuff, man. I wish he was here tonight. Obviously, he wanted to be here. He tried, but we'll get back to it. Me and J.Ellis will get back to him. We'll get all his takes on it for sure. But appreciate all your help in the chat, man, and supporting the channel, bro. Much appreciated, bro.
Always. You got it, bro.
All right, man. Problem. Take it easy, man. All right, I'm going to go 2 more calls, and I'm going to wrap up once again. Let me just reset these things here. Salute to everybody in the chat. CP from the Knicks Fan TV. If you're new to the chat and you're a diehard Knicks fan or you're a basketball fan, this is the home for you. people in the chat that have been here for forever will tell you, I'll put this show up on any live stream on YouTube. This is the home of the diehard Knicks fan, where we talk about Knicks news, Knicks rumors, and we do post-game fan reactions after every game, where you hear from live callers. We get your reactions. We take the reactions on social media, and you get our reactions as well. It's a community that we've been building for about 2 years now, and we're continuing to grow. So I hope you guys will continue to support. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and share these videos. Those are the 3 main ways that you can help support me in this channel. And if you feel like, we gave you value here, we would definitely appreciate your support. You just heard from Above the Rim. Above the Rim, he's a mod on the chat. He's been here since God knows how long. Since win number 1 of 17 out of 82. So we've been going through it together, man. All right, last 2 calls of the night. Josh from New York wants to talk about the KD injury. Josh, how you feeling, bro?
Good. So, absolutely. I mean, KD's injury is something that's going to be, really tough to come back from. I mean, any Achilles injury, you got that year off, and then you have the next year getting into the game. You're just not the same player. You don't have the same spring. I mean, as a foot and ankle surgeon, I'll tell you now that you don't get the same kind of bounce. You have a real long road to recovery. Mm-hmm. But, more importantly, I think that when I wake up and I say, okay, Kyrie and KD went to the Nets. And if they went to the Knicks, would I be happier? No. Because at the end of the day, I think it's close, but it's not close enough. And I think in a way we kind of spared ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of pressure in New York. We're a big market. And, there's always the look for okay, what's the quick fix? All right, KD, Kyrie, we're going to put in these big pieces. Yeah. But I think one of the things that the Knicks have lost over time is sort of that organic feel, just let's get back to some basketball and having some fun with these young guys, Yeah. Let's develop a team that's fun that people want to come to, because, there's always this pressure to be the Knicks are going to have the big fix, right? There's always something that's okay, back in the day, I remember it was Melo. I remember when Melo was signed, I lost my mind, I was so happy because we were struggling for years. But there's always that look to the shiny object, Sometimes it's got to be a little more organic, a little more. I always look at the New York Yankees, man. They're always coming out with these great players out of nowhere,
Yeah, but to stop you there, man, to stop you there, if James Dolan could spend like the Steinbrenners, the Knicks would have a dynasty. They would have the NBA on lock, because he would spend and spend and spend. We have a salary cap in basketball. And if you make the wrong moves,
that's a good point.
If you make the wrong moves in basketball, it can set you back for years. In baseball and football, you can go from worst to first in a short period of time. Look at the Tampa Bay Rays, for example. Not to talk baseball a lot, but look at the Rays. The Rays were trash, and now they're back. So basketball is different, man. It's hard. It's much, much harder.
I just hope the Knicks come back to having some fun this year. We get a little bit more of that kind of grassroots, organic feel, because I feel like if we come back to that, people are going to want to be, associated with the Knicks more. I worry about the culture sometimes with James Dolan and sort of the way that the Knicks are viewed in the public eye. And if it becomes more of a fun franchise with these young guys playing well together, I think, other stars will kind of look towards the future of the Knicks are on the up and up. But there's a lot of pressure in New York, and I feel like I'd like to see these guys work well together this year, and I'd like to see some young talent develop this year. That's my hope. My hope. I know we're not going to win this year,
Yeah, of course, man. And great call, man. Appreciate the call, Josh.
Yeah, bro. No, you.
Appreciate it, man. Sorry to cut you off. All right, last but not least, who's Mark? How you feeling, man? Sound off, Mark? How you feeling, man?
Yo, bro, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why do these other Knicks fans, I don't know if they live in New York or anything, but they don't realize that we just lost to the B-side today?
We did.
Regardless of anything?
We did.
For those two to just say, I'm going to the Nets, that tells you something about the Knicks. And y'all have to think for the future. Even if we get good, well, y'all
do me a favor. Just take it off speaker. Just take it off speaker if you can. Take it off speaker if you're on speakerphone.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. I got headphones on. You hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better.
All right. My whole thing is I understand everybody want to go to the youth movement. The youth movement could go two different ways.
Sure.
They could be good
Sure.
Or they could be just bad.
Yep.
Okay?
You just said that. Yep.
And when people say, oh, it's a bad idea to get Kevin Durant to come here, regardless of the situation, we will still be able to develop the young guys. What's the point? Like why do y'all shy away from the Kevin Durant injury? Kevin Durant is not a player like Russell Westbrook or Derrick Rose. He's not a super athletic player that relies. His game don't rely on athleticism. He's gonna come back. Trust me. He's gonna come back. And when he does, we're just gonna feel it as an organization, because I just feel like you should have just did it, because he is Kevin Durant and he just helps us in future purposes. The only reason why Randle came here, because he's not gonna get that deal nowhere else. He's not getting 21 for 3 years for 63. He's not getting that nowhere else. The only reason why he can't connect, because we can give it to him. We should give it to him.
So what do you think about the Dolan thing, where he didn't want to, where they claim he didn't want to give him the max because of injury? What you think about that?
You see, Dolan should have never put that out. That's why now people's clowning on us right now. He should have never put that out. It should have just been KD went to the Nets. Now, when you put that out, that just shows that you probably didn't offer him that. Like, you didn't offer KD that. And KD just said, you know what, I'm gonna go to the team that just offered me it. And the thing is now, I hear people talking about this pressure. They have no pressure. Those two guys don't have no pressure with the Nets.
Yeah, that's probably why they went.
And they knew that. There's no pressure. Look what happened to Kyrie. A little bit of pressure in Boston, he go to the safe team. KD?
Safe. They went the safe route.
And that's what kills me the most, because that just shows me, like, these guys are just they just weirdos, bro. They're just weirdos to me, man. They're really weirdos. Because what is the difference? Brooklyn had one good year. Like, why are we talking about Brooklyn like they had a good 3 years?
No, it's not about that. It's about how their roster is constructed right now. We got to keep it a buck, Mark. Their roster is constructed to be competitive now, and ours isn't. We can't say we are.
All right. No, that's right. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You don't think we had assets?
Yes.
If we wanted to be competitive, right?
Yeah.
You don't think we had assets to get those type of players to
Probably.
surround them to be good?
Probably. But I'm just playing devil's advocate. Maybe these guys didn't want to wait on.
No. You're right. No, you're right. No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
They do have a decent roster. They really do. They really, really do. But don't tell me that the Knicks couldn't trade our young guys to get better players. I'm just saying that. And we had people saying, well, we have the next 8 first-round picks for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
You don't think we could have used that and enticed to get a veteran-type player or a decent type of player to come play with Kyrie and KD? They're so valuable to us. But my whole thing is now, who's the next big free agent if R.J. Barrett don't become a star?
There is none. Maybe AD. Maybe AD. We'll see what happens in L.A. I know. I spoke to somebody just yesterday close to AD. Said he wanted the Knicks over the Lakers, but the Knicks could just not get it done. And we know that AD's going into free agency next year. That's what they already guaranteed from Rich Paul. So we'll see. You never know. But I'm not worried about that, man. I'm tired of worrying about next year.
I'm not tripping anymore.
Yeah, I'm not tripping over it.
Yeah, I'm not even tripping no more. I'm just mad at the B-side got something like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
It's whatever. Because I'm a New Yorker. You know what I mean? No one really. Nets don't have fans. They have spectators, bro.
Yeah.
So now we in our own town. And now we about to get it. Bitch, man. All right, man.
We got kicked in the teeth, bro.
I'm just.
Hang in there, my boy. Hang in there.
It's whatever.
Bro. Hang in there, man.
I'm gonna be all right.
All right, man. that was who's Mark. I gave Mark the last laugh, man. You know, he wears his heart on his sleeve. You know what I mean? Mark is very emotional, but I like that, man. That's a diehard Knicks fan right there. And listen, like I said, let's not act like, losing out KD. We wanted KD. I wanted KD. You know what I mean? I wanted Kevin Durant here playing with us for the Knicks, for the orange and blue, representing what this means to the city. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it just wasn't meant to be, man. KD signs with little brother. And that has to hurt us. That definitely hurts us, man. As Knicks fans, as proud Knicks fans who wear the orange and blue, that hurts. It hurts to see that these guys walked into our town and went the other way. But I think at the bottom line is we have to give credit where credit is due. We have to respect the fact that this team is just more prepared, more ready than we are. And we still have to build. We still have to build. It doesn't just work that way that we get the cap space and forget that. All this legacy and everything behind me, it means nothing. It means nothing to Kevin Durant. It means nothing to Kyrie Irving. It means nothing. The history means nothing. Well, I got Willis Reed behind me, Patrick Starks. All that is gone, man. Let's put that in the time capsule. Keep it to us. Enjoy it. But just know that it means nothing. And that's what today means to me. That's what today means to me. So let's recap. Before I get out of here, let's recap what happened on the day. Obviously, the story is Kevin Durant and Kyrie going to Brooklyn. But there were some other moves made. The Knicks did sign Julius Randle. 3-year deal worth $63 million. Knicks did sign Julius Randle. All right. That was a little big there, so let me hold that down. So Knicks did sign Julius Randle. Nerlens Noel goes to the Thunder. Tobias Harris back with the Philadelphia 76ers. Ken Bazemore to the Blazers. Rodney Hood back with the Blazers. Nikola Mirotic went back to Europe. Thomas Bryant goes back to the Wizards. 3-year deal worth $25 million. Jeremy Lamb goes to the Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon, big move for the Pacers. 4-year deal worth $85 million. Bojan Bogdanovic goes from the Pacers to the Jazz, to the Utah Jazz. Chris Middleton re-ups up with the Milwaukee Bucks. 5-year deal worth $178 million. Al Farouk Amino goes to the Orlando Magic. 3-year deal worth $29 million. And Garrett Temple goes to the Nets. DeAndre Jordan also goes to the Nets. Terrence Ross back with the Orlando Magic. Gerald Green to the Rockets. Valanciunas back with the Grizzlies. Derrick Rose goes to the Pistons. Don't really care about that. Harrison Barnes signs a mega deal with the Sacramento Kings. J.J. Redick to the Pelicans. It's a good move. I thought J.J. would be going to a contender, but he wants to go help the young guys out. He's going with Zion and them. I like what they're starting to put together. And that's that, man. Brook Lopez back with the Milwaukee Bucks. And of course, Kemba going to the Celtics. Celtics are trying to work out a 3-way deal to get Terry Rozier to the Charlotte Hornets. So let's see, man. Let's see what happens. Thanks again to Moke Hamilton who joined us from The Athletic. Make sure you go follow Moke. Is at Moke Hamilton on Twitter. So make sure you go follow him. Once again, salute to everybody that joined, man. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. If you're a diehard Knicks fan, this is the home for you. We will be back sometime this week to put a bow on this. And you know what? Free agency's still going, man. We did get Julius Randle, but there's more moves to be made. There's more money to spend. So let's see what happens. Have faith, man. It was a tough day, but we'll be all right, man. Tough day. So once again, the merch, you can find the merch in the video description. Share these videos. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Share these videos. The videos are also available in audio format. Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, under Knicks Fan TV. You will find all the content right there. And yeah, man, leave me a comment. For those of you watching on the replay, leave me a comment below. And have faith, Knicks Nation. Tough day. There's better days ahead for us, man. We took a loss. We took a loss today, man. But we'll be all right, man. Shout out to Hectic Only, Jorge Sanchez, Gregory W. I appreciate the support. Tack, appreciate the support, man. Funky Goose World, John Talento, always appreciate it. Ricky D, thank you, Ricky. Jerome Raphael says, be patient. Alex Collins, thanks a lot, man. Rest up, man. It's getting late in Ireland. Rest up. Blockboy Moss, appreciate it, man. Louis Luck, Flashpoint 2.0, 2 cents. Yeah, man. Thanks again, everybody. We out of here, man. Peace.